HM Agra, how you doing? How's your Sunday going? All right, I think we're about ready. Yep. All right. Let me turn this down. Here we go. Beautiful. All right. So, what do we need to do today? So yesterday, let's take a look here first. Yesterday, after we got done with the stream, yesterday in-game? No, today in-game. No, yesterday in-game. After we got done with the stream, I went ahead and fixed a few things. I did get all these fields sprayed for weeds, right? So all these fields are good. And field 3-7, you can see it's like half seeded. I couldn't figure out what to do about this. It had those weird stripes in it. So I ripped it all out. And we're going to we had wheat in here, but there's quite a bit of grade to the field. And if we have wheat in it, then we can either spread chaff and use that as fertilizer. We don't really need to. Or we can spread straw swath, spray a straw swath, and then bale it. But then we'd have bales on this field. It's got a grade to it. I want to go round bales. If we go square bales, we can't wrap them. I don't know. It's a whole scene, man. It's a whole scene. So we're going to go round bales, and I don't want round bales in a field that steep. So the first thing we're going to do, I don't know why I'm in here. First thing we'll do is get the JCB going, because we're reseeding that with canola. We'll get the JCB going on a basic worker. Let it run a couple cycles. It's already been running on a basic worker, and it's been doing okay, but we'll confirm that everything's going all right. Then we can, let me see, I guess we'll drop the herbicide sprayer, the liquid sprayer from the fence. We'll put on the broadcast spreader, and we'll try to get some fert on, what is it, field 1 has 3 layers already, so field 7, field 2, and field 6 need their third layer of fert. So we've got 3 fields to fertilize. Then when the JCB is done in this field, and I don't even know if we need to spray this for weeds. I really don't, because you can see it down here. Like, we'll get the draw distance. You can see out there, I mean, you can barely see it. But out there in the distance on the right, it's still got those green stripes. And that's after we hit it with the subsoiler, right, and completely ripped out all the crop that was in here. So I don't know what those stripes represent, but I think what they need to do is basically cycle through. Like, I think we need to grow crops in this field, and that will sort of consume those green stripes, whatever they are, and then we'll start again clean either with a winter crop this fall, later this summer. This fall we'll put in winter wheat or something, or winter barley, or winter canola, and hopefully that gets rid of it. But in the meantime, I don't know. And we did keep this little Pottinger unit that we have on the back here. We did keep it overnight. So we're paying some fees for rental, and we're down to 20 grand, but we haven't taken out a loan yet. And we do have some other things going on down at the wool operation, and I will show those to you presently. Let's go third person for this. I don't know what it is about Farm Sim franchise versus cattle and crops, but as much as I feel very at home first person in cattle and crops, I think I'm just used to, I've spent a lot of time in Farm Sim third person. I don't know, maybe it's because the game looks better, that we want to be outside and see the vehicles. And man, I worked at night after we finished up with the last stream. The lighting in this game, they really did do a good job with it. Credit where credit is due. They did a good job with it. Let's back up just a little bit, because this is, I mean, we're not fully immersive here. We're trying to be as realistic as possible, but it's Farm Sim. All right, here we go. And we're gonna hop out here and just confirm that this is putting in canola. And then what else is going on? Yep, that is canola. We'll watch this cycle through just a couple times to make sure it makes its turn. Now, I've noticed something about this. So this unit that we have, when we look in leased items, it's really two items, 2 implements. We didn't lease these separately. We only leased one thing, and it gave us both of them. But because we've got a power harrow on the front here, you know what it's doing. Like, when the basic AI is looking in front of the tractor right now, it is seeing a cultivated field, and the power harrow is a cultivator. But then behind it, right? We've got a seeder, so it's like overwriting. But what happens is when we get to the edge of the field down here, I put in a headland manually. When we get to the edge of the field, because we have that power harrow up front, when it gets to this point right here, if it was not a direct drill, because that combo is essentially, it creates a direct drill. But if it was not a direct drill, the drill itself would stop when it got to this point right here. But because of that power harrow, and the power harrow only, I don't know, it doesn't respect a planted field. It goes right through it because it's different, if that makes sense. Like a plow, you can't use basic AI on a plow on a plowed field, or you can't use basic AI with a cultivator on a cultivated field. But you can put a power harrow on basic AI and it'll go right through a planted field, a drilled field. So it is going across our headland, but I don't know, it's still working out. Leo, the Banana King. I'm great. Leo, how are you? How's Sunday treating you? So it is going, well, what in the world? Yeah. All right. There you go. There's your basic AI. I thought about putting this on course play, but I did not. We'll watch it get to the top of the field here and see which way it turns. If it goes to the left, I don't know. I don't know. I love this franchise, but it can be a handful sometimes. Anyway, eventually we'll get this JCB going in this field, and then we'll hop in the fence. We'll take care of a couple other things, and then we'll do some things with wool. We'll clean up the yard a little bit, do a little bit of housekeeping, and start getting ready for, I guess we'll mow grass. That'll be the next thing we do, because the wheat that we put in and the canola we're putting in, they won't be ready for a while. I would say late summer at the earliest. So we'll have to bring in grass once, maybe twice before then. I do like your name. I'm filled with curiosity. Where does such a name come from? And what else? Oh, precision farming. For some reason, I thought it was due on December 12th. I've been saying December 12th over and over. It's the 8th. It is December 8th, which is Tuesday. So tomorrow, I owe you several makeup videos now. I tried to stream ATS yesterday, and it was an absolute tits up from the jump. It was a disaster. Everything that could possibly go wrong went wrong. It was a horrible, horrible stream. As soon as I was done, I deleted it. You deserve better than that, and so do I. So I owe you one ATS, and I definitely owe you... All right, man. See you in a minute. I definitely owe you an X-Plane as well. Where is this hired worker going to go? You know what? I don't trust it. I'm going to hop in here. And yeah. So I owe you an X-Plane. I owe you an ATS. And I will try to send both of those your way this week. So we'll have to decide what we want to do tomorrow, whether we want to do ATS or X-Plane. I think it will be ATS, because we still need to explore Colorado, and I'm enjoying driving that new Freightliner Cascadia. Let me take a look. There's one thing. I don't think this matters. So this menu here, well, I mean, we already did a length down the field, and this arrow was set to turn right. So I don't think this matters when you're on basic AI. I don't know. All right, we're going to give it one more try, and I guess, I mean, if it doesn't work this time, I guess we'll do it manually. Here we go. So we'll do something else tomorrow. ATS, X-Plane, ETS, something. But I do owe you 2 live streams, makeup streams. And then Tuesday, we will do precision farming. Typically, things drop for me from Steam at 1 p.m. my time, and that's when I stream. So if that DLC drops, we might have to go at like 1:15, just to give it time to download, depending on how big it is. I don't think it's very big. I don't think it involves a lot of graphical components or equipment or a map or anything. So I'm guessing like, I don't know, 500 meg maybe. And that's a 30-second download. So we'll get that going, and I'm not going to prep it at all. The first time I use precision farming will be with you on Tuesday, and we'll learn it together for the first time. So I don't want to see it. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to know anything about it. I want to be surprised with you. I did take a look online, and I mean, I see the word nitrogen floating around, but I also see pH. So I think it may be pH that you balance using nitrogen and lime. I think if I remember my chemistry, that's how you swing pH up and down, is it not? So I don't know. We'll find out. It could be a very basic system. It could be very comprehensive, but it sounds like it's something they want to continue expanding. Giant says over the next couple of years, working with John Deere, and is it EIT? Yeah, they want to expand it over the next couple of years. Now, I don't think that means FS19 is going to stick around. I'm going to hop in here in case they go the wrong way again. I don't think that means FS19 is going to be around for a couple of years. I do think we're getting a new farm sim at some point. Game, what are you doing? What are you doing? What's your problem, AI worker? Just plant the damn field. Come on now. When they say a couple years for precision farming, I think they mean that tech, whichever version of farm sim it is included in, they're going to be working on that for a couple years. But I mean, I don't know. We're still on ETS2 from like 2012, so who knows? Who could see the future? Maybe FS19 will be around for quite a while, and they'll just add DLC to it. I mean, what would we like to see different? Right, thinking about the evolution from 13 to 15 to 17 to 19, there were kind of, I don't know, there were some big jumps. I felt like it was a big jump to go from 15 to 17, but it was more like adding features. Whereas 17 to 19 with the new rendering, the new lighting, you know, a lot of new stuff. So maybe that's meaningful. You know, that was a meaningful evolution from 17 to 19, and they just didn't see a way to do the same thing from 19 to 2021. Who knows? Right? So save it. And the next, I don't know whether they release it in a year or 2 years, 5 years, whatever, the next jump will be noticeable, right? Rather than incremental. And it's strange because I know, like, the worst offender for me is Milestone, that they release their games every year. They're going to release MXGP 20. Will be the last one of the year. They're going to release that next week. And it's going to be MXGP 19 with new pajamas. And I say that all the time, like, oh, you know, this bugs me so much that they just keep releasing the same game. There's nothing really different about it. It's just new teams and new riders. But everything else is exactly the same. And yet I'm going to pay $60 for it. So as disappointing as it was to know that there wouldn't be Farming Simulator 2021, or whatever, right, the next version of the franchise, at the same time, had they released it and it wasn't a significant evolution, then people would have given them shit for that. So it's like, the DLC model, I don't know, it's not the worst thing. And their DLC, well, first off, they do a season pass, so that helps quite a bit. And their DLC is not outrageously expensive, right? Like Dovetail. I mean, I know it's apples to oranges. Dovetail is a whole different model. There's no season pass for Dovetail. But I think if Dovetail was, what in the world, game? If Dovetail had, I don't know, their season pass would need to be more expensive, but if it was $99 for all DLC that year, it just absolutely does not want to go to the correct side. I have no idea. We're going to have to do this manually. JFC. Needed to give your horses food. Real horses? Sim horses. To try it one time down this side of the field. I know we're driving straight over the crop, not super immersive. I'm just in no mood. I'm in no mood. Come on, hired worker, cooperate. All right, so we'll get this on 180 right there. Straight 180. Real horses. Right on, man. What kind of horses? Thoroughbreds? Draft horses? What are you rocking there? All right, off they go. Let's hope for a correct turn down here. So yeah, I think Dovetail obviously would need to be more expensive, but if they said, you know, $99 a year gets you all DLC for the year, I know it couldn't work out, but just as an example, I think that would sort of take the edge off the reputation that Dovetail has for being kind of, you know what I mean? Kind of reckless with the DLC. So if Giants has gone to a DLC model, that's cool, because their DLC is a lot more affordable, and they do have a season pass. So I'm okay with it. And I've sort of come around to 19. We've got some realism mods running. Don't really know? Okay. Well, I mean, do they pull things, or do jockeys ride on them? Or are they used for like hunting? What's their use? How do they get used? I've come around to 19. The realism mods have helped, and it's not, I mean, 17 I think is still my favorite, but waiting on a new map for 17, the only map that I'm waiting for is the Western Shore. I don't know how many people are still making maps for 17. I really don't. So that's the only map that I'm waiting for, and I put 200 hours into the Western Shore. I love it. It's a fantastic map, arguably the best map I've ever played. But, you know, I got my limits. Everybody's got their limits. So I don't know that I want to hop back into Western Shore V1, and I'm curious what Western Shore V2 will even look like. All right. They seem to be making a turn here, but it's going to be what they do at the top of the field that determines it. I don't know what's going on here either. I think it's just the only thing it's really registering is the power harrow. Maybe, I don't know. Probably have to clean this field up a little bit. Banana King is your Discord name. Okay, right on, right on. Well, I mean, that half answers the question, Leo. But then the follow-up question would be, where did your Discord name come from? Let's get to the source. Let's figure out what's really going on here with this name. I am curious. But, I mean, if it's a private thing, you don't want to talk about it, that's cool, too. All right, if this JCB makes the proper turn at the top of the field, then we'll be able to trust it. And 20 minutes into the stream, we can then begin doing some other things. Oh, my goodness. It's always something in this farm life. You know what? I watch the Millennial Farmers sometimes, and it's always something in real farming, too. I swear that guy, every episode is just him. Something breaks, and he has to fix it. Every episode, something goes wrong. And I get it, you know. I mean, that's not reality TV. That's slightly different. It's more of almost like a documentary. But, you know, nobody wants to see an episode where nothing happens. Give me some action, Millennial Farmer. Let me see something go down. So I understand we may only be seeing the days where something goes wrong, but it certainly seems like something goes wrong every single day on that farm. And I suspect that is the case on many farms in real life. It's always something to fix. Oy. JCB, come on, you got this. All right, on. Yep, that makes sense. All right, well, cool. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for stopping by. I do appreciate it. Let me see. This is the important one. This is what it all comes down to. Can this basic AI figure out what side to drive on? Come on, man. Help me out here. We don't have a whole lot to do today, in all honesty, but I don't want to spend the entire stream drilling this relatively big field with a 3-meter implement. All right, I think they got it. I think somehow, maybe. Oh, they are they are really cutting those rows off, though. Okay. All right, well, we're going to trust them. Here we go. We're going to run down to the farm. I got a couple things to show you down there. Let's feed the animals first, because they are pretty low. I think when I stopped earlier, they were at like 130 liters of food. They're not starving, but they are in the red. So we had a problem, and the problem is that we own the Ford, we own the JCB. Neither has a front loader. I don't think the Ford will take a front loader. The JCB will, but honestly, I really don't like the way it looks on there. Where am I from, and how old am I? Well, I don't typically talk about personal stuff on the channel. Most recently, I'm living in South Lake Tahoe, and at the moment, I'm in North Carolina. And my age and all that other stuff is private. Keep that on the low. All right. So this is what we figured out for a front loader. I did not want to buy a tractor with a front loader. Oh, no worries. Nothing to be sorry about. I didn't want to buy a tractor with a front loader. I don't want to put a front loader bracket on the JCB. I don't like the way it looks. I didn't want to buy another tractor. Can't afford a telehandler, and a skid steer is not versatile enough. So what I got was this thing. It was $5,000, and we can do several things with it. Like we can move this pallet, right? Get that out of the way. Jaden, what's happening, brother? How you doing? We can get that pallet out of the way. We can start moving some wool. These are, we're getting 1,300 pounds per 1,000. So these are 2,600 a piece. So this is coming up on $5,000. When we get all four spawned in here, we'll have 10 grand. That will really help out because we have 20 grand total. We don't owe anything to the bank yet, but we have 20 grand. And we do have crops in the field. What am I looking for here? Where is it? Back here? Yeah. There's our bale back there. So let's get a round bale into the food trough for the sheep so they don't starve. And then we'll think about what we want to do next. With that thing that we've got on the Ford, we can't lift a pallet up onto a trailer. So if we wanted to take wool down to the sell point, we would have to put it on the back. We'd put it on here and basically strap it down and drive it. I don't know if you would ever do that in real life, but we're going to do it in sim. So reset the track IR, and let's get out here and clean stuff up a little bit. And it looks like, hang on. Looks like they went the other way. You've got to be kidding me. Mobed. It looks like the damn JCB went the other way. Right? So it was moving across the field through the new areas. Can I guess where you're from? First letter is S. I would say Siberia, Senegal, South Dakota, Sri Lanka. Are they okay? They're doing it. All right. In the mini map, it looked like they were going back across what they had already drilled. All right. I should have just put it on course play. In hindsight, would have been the better option. All right. Nope. I don't know, man. There's a lot of places that start with S. It could be a city, could be a state, could be a country. I don't know. All right. So back into the Ford. And I guess we can move this pallet first. Because I don't think... Yeah. I don't think... we're going to run out of seat on that thing. Okay, so we can... Can we lift and lower this? Jaden, I have not yet. I apologize, brother. Been super, super busy. So we want right... Country. It's either Switzerland or Sweden. Are there any others? And then we want... Is it this? So we want this way. So that's like that. Okay, so that's up and down. And that's angle. And then... Okay. So we want to go back here now, and we want control group bale fork. We want control group pallet fork. There we go. Okay, so now this lowers. All right. And then like so. Okay. I think this is, it's not the perfect fix, but I think it'll do. As long as we got our angle right here. Yep. All right. Let's see if we can get this back in here. In fact, we'll even... Can we do this? Can't quite get the angle. Close enough. All right, here we go. And do we also... No, I don't see a way to strap anything on there. But that's at least out of the way. Okay. So let's take this over here somewhere. Just to get it out of the way. And for now, you know what? We've been using this little barn right over here quite a bit. We go in here carefully, and then we can go straight back. All right. Yeah, let's just dump this in here for now. I need it to stick. Are we down as far as we can go? Yeah, that's all the angle that I can get. Ah, there we go. Okay. All right, so now we need to bring these up and then swap this back over to bale spike and then lower. Okay. All right, I think this will work. Definitely better than spending 100 grand on a telehandler. I didn't want to do that yet. All right. Spear that. All right, that works. I mean, it's on there. It's not on there well, but it's on there. And this is the small bale that we had. Yeah, this one is about half gone, a little bit less than half gone. So let's see what we can get in the trough. And let me see. In 19, it only triggers when it's off the spikes. Is that correct? Come on now. There we go. Oh, this is so sloppy. But you know what? It's working. All right. And then back up. And we'll take this over here. I know I could leave this here and it would just take from it as it needed to, but I don't know. That always feels kind of, I don't know. I'd rather not do that. Okay. So we'll stuff this one, but we can put it with the others now because we've got room. And then we'll go hop in the Fent. We'll go check on the JCB because I don't trust it. All right. There we go. All right, so that works. I've not used this thing before. It's a, I don't know, saves a lot of money, for one thing. All right, and we want this up. There we go. All right, so that's done. Housekeeping is done. We get this put away. We'll hop in the Fent. And I don't remember off the top of my head how much fert is still in the hopper. So we may need to go. Help! How can I help you, Jaden? What's going on, brother? All right, so we go right in here, and we're gonna drop this thing, right? And pick this spreader up, see what's in it. 1,000 liters. I'm going to say that's close enough to empty. We can go ahead and refill. And we're on 24 meters width, which is the same thing we set our tram lines up for. So let's head down to the store, throw some pellet fert in here, and we'll take a look at how the JCB is doing on the way past. Perfect. Now, as soon as we're done with the broadcast spreader today, we can return it. We won't need it again this season. Oh, no, we will. Well, we'll need it again this season. We won't need it again this time, right? We'll need it for the grass, but not straight away. All right, JCB is still working away. Do I have any pets? At the moment, no, I do not have any pets. All right, down here. And I did, just realized I had the time on 1x, but I bumped it up to 5x. If we can make it to evening today, and I don't see why we couldn't. We can even accelerate time a little bit and go up 10x or whatever. But let's get to evening today, and then we will sleep the night, because I want to see tomorrow if our grass has grown at all. If it has, we can apply fert to it. And also if our canola and wheat have sprouted, right? Confirm what we lost. I don't think we lost anything to frost. I think we were in the place we needed to be for temperature, but I've been surprised before. I've had spot damage from frost, and I've once lost an entire field. So I think we made all our calculations properly based on the calendar. But if we did lose a crop, then we'll need to turn that field under and get something else in there. And at that point, it's likely that we would have to borrow some money. We'll be getting money from wool, but not straight away. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to think what else is going on. Yeah, we'll spread fert with the Fent, then we'll return this thing. We'll return the broadcast spreader. The little weight that's on the front of this, we will spray field 3-7 for weeds and return the liquid sprayer, and then sleep through the night and see where we're at tomorrow. Carefully. All right, here we go. Put that in here. Yep. And this thing holds 3,200. If it holds 3,200, I don't know. That's a lot for this little tractor. Let's take a look. Yeah, Jaden he's got a lot of enthusiasm. Where do we want to go? We want to go here and here. 3,900. Okay, so we can fit two more. We can fit two more fertilizer in here. So let's do that. Solid fertilizer 1 and 2. All right. You have a chicken killing dog. That's not good. Do you live on a farm? That's, as I understand it, that is a big, big problem. Like, you could end up with a farmer dog for that kind of behavior. All right, so this one will fit in here. Yeah, we're gonna have, I mean, I don't know what the weight of this is as far as like mass, but we are gonna have 3,000 liters. Don't live on a farm? Okay, good. So we've got 3,000 liters, little over 3,000 liters, but it's a granular solid rather than a liquid, so I don't know what the mass is, but we've got quite a bit of weight on the back here. Oh, it rained while I was working off camera, and with that realism mod, when it rains, no vehicle will move at all in any field. No amount of power, doesn't matter what tires you have on, you cannot move at all in fields. So you can't work in fields when it's raining. And I'm told in real life that you don't work in fields when it's raining because you can really do a lot of damage very quickly. But I mean, you can work in fields. There's nothing stopping you from working in fields. It's just the majority of farmers, unless it's very dire circumstances, they avoid working in fields when it's raining or when they're very wet. But with this mod that we have on right now, you cannot work in any fields while it's raining at all. So I did have to accelerate time till the rain stopped. And I feel like the grip was still reduced when the fields were wet. In fact, if you look in the top right, we still have the wet field icon, the wet crop icon. So the fields are wet, and I feel like the grip is reduced, but when it was actually raining, like actively raining, the grip was reduced to 0. The tractors would not move at all, and there was actually a little, like a mud animation, and it looked like the wheels had sunk into the soil. So it's a nice detail. I like it, and it's one of those things where, you know, in real life, you typically don't work in fields when it's raining. Farmers don't work in fields when it's raining, but in Farm Sim, you know, hey, why not? And now we can't. So that's another one of those realism mods that makes the sim a little harder, but it makes it more realistic. All right, and Leo, I just noticed you never said where you're from. I've got Sweden, I've got Switzerland. I can't think of any other SWs, but you never did say where you're from. In the Discord, right on. All right, and I think I did get tram lines in field 7. I didn't bother with tram lines in field 2 and field 6 because they're fairly small. But I did put some tram lines in. I put them in manually. I had a hired worker do the entire field with no tram lines. You saw that last episode. Where's our worker? All right, there they are. So we did the whole field, just kind of, I wouldn't say quick and dirty, but we just got the field done. We got wheat in that field, and then I went back in, as you can do in the Farm Sim franchise, and sort of fixed it afterwards. Not super realistic, but I really do like the way tram lines look, and I don't know if that will ever be a part of base game, but I really wish it was. Because really it's just kind of a variation of crop destruction, right? Is it not? I think that would work, but I'd love to see that. Okay, Sweden, hell yeah, I thought that was it. You seem too lighthearted to be from Switzerland. Most Swiss people that I've met are very, very serious. All right, so we'll go third person. There's my tram lines. Not perfect, and I did have to do a little fixing here and there, but we got them in there. So now, I think we want to start from this corner because this is the shortest distance from the edge of the field to the tram lines. I didn't do them all the way over to the gate. Oh, it's an imperfect system. All right, we're gonna come right over here, right? Turn that on and turn this on. Here we go. And it looks like, interesting. Hang on, before we go too far, let's take a look here. Are we putting down fertilizer? Where's my cursor? There it is. We are not. All right, I'm going to try this part up here. I'm going to try field 7 up top and see if we can get fertilizer in here. And then we also want to try field 2 and field 6. But it could be that these fields need to grow a little bit before they will take the next fert, which is fine because we need our grass to grow too. And we get anything up here? No. Oh, okay. It's always something. It's always something when you have a fake farm. All right. Let's head back to the farm. Let's unload this fert that we just got. We're not going to lose any of it. So let's unload this. And we will return this. And then I think as soon as the JCB is done, we'll go ahead and skip time and get to tomorrow and see if anything has grown or sprouted at all. I hope it has. All right, we're going to put this vert back in here. All right. So that is unloaded. Turn that off. Come out here and go to garage. And we want to return this thing. We're going to return that. We want to return that. And we want to return the Fendt. Okay. So now, now we've still got the sprayer. Want to return the sprayer? Yeah, let's return the sprayer as well. Because we won't use that at the moment. We won't use that. So let's return this. Return. There's that. And all we've got going on now is the JCB. So let's see how they're getting on. And it's 2:30 in the afternoon. Yeah, this will work out. As soon as field 3-7 is done, if it's not already evening and time to sleep, we'll skip time to evening, and then we'll sleep through the night and see what's sprouted tomorrow morning and what we can do next. I think from the very first time that I played Farm Sim, one of my favorite things about it is there are just so many problems to solve. And some of them I know are like real farming problems, right? But some of them are not bugs in the sim, but some of them, speaking of, how about that timing? How about that? All right, they just got stuck on this tree. All right. Now, next question is, when we put this back on a worker, you know what's going to happen. When it gets to the end of this row, it's going to turn the wrong way. I have a feeling. All right, let's get this lined up and see how we can do. Right about in here somewhere, right about here. Not so much there or there, but right there. Nothing. Nothing. Oh my goodness. I don't want to do this field manually. Unbelievable. All right, I guess we're doing this field manually. All right, so we go here, do that, do that, do that. Then we go here. This I don't fully understand. This seems to work sometimes, and then other times it does not. Like right now. So we go here. Let's try 180. 180. There we go. All right. Are we still, I think we're still streaming. Are we lagged out? I'm lagged out on my preview. Stand by. Yeah, we're okay. I thought the stream crashed. Would not surprise me today the way things have been going. All right. So we lower that. Here we go. Yep, everything's still working. Or is it? Yeah, my preview is like really lagging out right now. There it goes. Nah, we're good. Everything is still working. XSplit, I have to say, has been, I would estimate, probably like, I don't know, 5 times more reliable than OBS. I know a lot of people really love OBS. It works, I guess, but I never had great luck with it. I'm having much better luck with XSplit. Alright, and we are going to have to drive over areas that we seeded. I put these headlands in top and bottom so the hired worker would be able to, I don't know, do better with this field. And you see how that went. Oh, hired worker. Alright. Here. And I'm going to deadhead a little bit rather than making 3-point turns. I feel like this is narrow enough at the moment. And we may have, because the hired worker wasn't necessarily lined up with what we ended up putting in for guidance steering, so we've got a little bit of overlap right here, but not too bad. Alright, well, this won't take, I don't think, too long, maybe 15 minutes or so to get this done. And then we will, yeah, we'll skip time through the night, sleep through the night, because it's already 3, we're on 5x, so another hour. Game time will be 12 minutes. Yeah, so it'll be going on like 5 or 6. Okay, that works out. And we can even do a little in-cab in here. Yeah, Pro Gamer, it's a really nice map. Purbeck Valley is, I'm really enjoying it. I loved Naveswell in 15 and 17. I was kind of sad to see it go, and I'm really happy to see it back in 19. I like it when map makers do things like this. This is it's a tall, skinny field, right? And the long axis is up and downhill, so it makes the most sense that we would make our lengths up and downhill, but that does sort of, I don't know, puts a little stress on the horsepower requirements. It's a little quieter in cab, so we'll go first person. It is, I don't know, I'm not, certainly not opposed to first person in FS19, but I really am used to third person in Farm Sim and first person in Cattle and Crops. I don't know why it worked out that way, but it definitely did. Let's see if we can do this without hitting the tree. Right down here. And then lower. And I see some of those big button box, like cockpit combos that people have for Farm Sim with like 2 joysticks and the whole side panel, right? And everything is, all your implements are controlled as they would be in real life. Rather than with buttons, they're controlled with bigger, I guess, more analog controls to the side. I don't have room for a setup like that, but it would be nice. Oh, and there's dynamic hose on everything now too. I think, yeah, just about everything in base game in 19 has been converted over to dynamic hose. On day 1, I think there were some implements and trailers that had been brought in from 17 that didn't have it yet, but I think they've added it to everything now via patches and updates and along the way. So yeah, that's, I really, well, I don't know. I don't like to shit talk any developer. I know the Cattle and Crops crew, they're doing their best, but they're a small team. And I know there were some really big plans for what the tractors were going to be like as far as like the external controls on the fender that you would use for the 3-point linkage and the hydraulics. And you know, they had there's a video, I think it's still up. There's a video, it's like a tech demo video of what you would be able to do first person outside the tractor, how you'd be able to use the controls for the hydraulics. And unfortunately that didn't make it into the game yet. I think it will at some point, but it's, you know, not enough hours in the day to do all the things that we want to do. And that's true of everybody. It's not just video game developers, but we've all got things we'd love to do if we had the time. We just run out of time. So seeing the dynamic hose again, and man, that lighting yesterday. We'll see it again this evening when the sun sets. But that lighting yesterday, basically what I was seeing was the tail lights of the Ford kind of glowing through all the struts and linkages and apparatus under that little Cavernaland drill that we had running. Little, I guess it's a combo, same as this one. It's a power harrow and a drill. You're doing West Newton Farm. When you say you're doing it, you mean you're playing on it or you're building it? But seeing that lighting yesterday after the sunset, which is really, really pretty, and frame rate it's pretty solid. I think I had our scaling on, it was maxed out, so it was either 150 or 200, I don't know, whatever maximum is. So I backed that down a little bit. I think we've picked up some frames. I want to see what happens to our frame rate when we come back with a little bit of green on the trees, and I believe that will happen tomorrow, day 4 of 9-day seasons. I think we'll see that, so I'm curious how that works out. You're playing it. All right, on. I haven't spent any time on it at all. Who's the map maker? You know offhand? It's that flute song. It haunts me. All right. All right. Drop. Beautiful. Yeah, there are, man, that's, if anything is going to hold cattle and crops back, it's going to be maintaining people's interest until there are mods. And I don't know when that's going to happen. I mean, I want it to happen. I want the game to succeed. But the way that AI is set up, where you can just tell the AI from anywhere, AI can be anywhere on the map, and you can tell it, you know, go to this place, and it finds its way to a road, and then it goes to that place based on name. There is, I know there's that, it's like course play, but for roads only. And it's definitely in 15 and 17. I think it might be in 19, but you have to lay the courses in manually yourself. But essentially you drive around the map and you give various places various names, and then you can tell the AI, you know, just go here, go there, but you have to build all that manually. In Cattle and Crops, it's already built into the game, so I think that would need to be built into a map if you wanted the AI to be able to do what they do, which is almost like a course play functionality, where you can have the AI carting for you and going to a specific place and unloading. So I think building maps is really going to be really tricky in Cattle and Crops. So I don't know when we're going to see maps, but you know, playing a map like this, I want to go check out that West Newton Farm when I'm done here. But seeing this quality of map and all the mods, and if the Cattle and Crops crew can just get past that obstacle, if they can begin getting mod content into their sim, I think it would make a big difference. As much as I was enjoying it, it felt a little grindy, you know, getting through that fertilizer phase unscathed. Felt a little grindy, and it was just a single map. Now, I'm told people in chat have said, yeah, that's what German farm country looks like, so I don't dispute that. But just that it was one map and a little bit of traffic and modding. Okay, cool. I'm gonna check it out as soon as I'm done here. It was one map, and other than a little bit of traffic, it didn't have a ton going on. And I feel like as they've sort of dialed back the game to try to sort out some of their optimization problems, it's not the best looking game, honestly. It's the mechanics of it underneath. It's the nuts and bolts of farming that really interests me in that game. And for the most part, I can overlook the lack of content, but when it feels grindy, it becomes really difficult to overlook that. You know, if we were having a great time and really feel like we were making some progress in Cattle and Crops, then we could get past that other stuff. I say we, I mean me, right? But I could, you know, I can handle that. But when you put it all together, it is it's tough, you know. And as much as I want to support the devs, and I've certainly supported them several times by buying the game. I want to support the devs, but at the same time, I play video games to have fun. And it's difficult to play a game that feels grindy when there are so many other titles to play. Not just in Farm Sim, but I mean, I've been playing that Hunter Call of the Wild game like crazy. I've got race sims that I am not spending enough time in, and my skills are deteriorating. I've got new trucks that I bought on the ETS side. I've got new trucks being released on the ATS side. We've got another motorcycle sim coming next week. We've got the TGV, High Speed Rail, coming for Train Sim World 2. And we've got Precision Farming dropping on Tuesday. You know, I think it's a big ask for a developer to expect a player base to remain loyal when a game might not have a lot of depth to it at the moment. You know? And in time, I don't doubt that Cattle and Crops will have depth, but at the moment, I don't know. It feels like a tech demo sometimes. Scotland map, hell yeah, man, my family's from Scotland. Now I really want to check it out. Is it based on anything from 15 or 17, or is it all new? Like, is it a conversion or is it brand new? Right. Guidance steering. Lower that. And I just looked to see how we're doing on seed. We're okay. I'd completely forgotten to look at that, but we're okay. Okay. I'll take a look. Like this map that we're on, this was a 15, then it was a 17, then it was converted to 19, but given a new name. So it's hard to say with maps, but yeah, I really want to check it out. I will do that as soon as I'm done here. Just got FS19 or just got that map? Right on. Yep, I'm really curious to see it. So we can now, when we're done with this thing, when we're done with the little pottinger back there, we can return that. We won't be drilling anything at least until late summer if we put in winter crops. And I imagine we will. Although I always end up in a bad cycle. My first year, I put in a spring crop straight away. And then as soon as I harvest it, I turn the fields and put in a winter crop because I want to make that money. But then we end up harvesting that crop next summer, and the only thing that we can do is put in another winter crop. And now I'm just on those winter crops. I mean, it's still, I guess, the same amount. It's not like you get more or less yield for winter crops, or do you? No, it's the same yield for everything. So you're still harvesting one crop per field per year. It's just whether it's a winter crop or a summer crop. From Northern Ireland? Right on. Yeah, that part of the world is, I think it's my favorite type of map. I just really like the little lanes and the hedgerows, and it just really suits me. And I feel like, broadly speaking, farm sim maps are like, I don't know, 45% UK, 45% Germany, and then 10% Russia and Poland. Seems like that's where the player base was. Well, maybe a little bit less UK style or British Isles style. I know I need to be very, very careful because I don't want to lump UK, Ireland, I don't want to, right? Wales. I don't want to lump that all together. So I just say that part of the world. But the way that this map looks right now, this is what I think of as a British map or a UK style map. But I do think this has dropped off the past couple years. I feel like there are more with that. I feel like there are more players, like relatively more players in Germany and from Germany than there are from the British Isles. I think it used to be kind of more evenly split, but it's like the German percentage is going up. Get that going. There we go. And then drop that. But yeah, I think of that as the three typical styles of map. The British Isles style, the German style, and then the Polish or Russian style where everything looks like Chernobyl, like Sosnovka, right? Or PGR Bruzda, which is a fantastic map, but I always feel so sad when I'm playing it. I always feel so lonely. There's no traffic, and the whole place just looks like DayZ. It's really kind of a downer to be on PGR Bruzda. But that is definitely a very specific style of map. So this is, of the three though, I think this is my favorite. I've spent time on PGR Bruzda. I love it. What's the other one for 17? Dolnos Laskowitz. I like that one quite a bit. And I've played some German maps, but they tend to be, I don't want to say boring, because I know people love them. But the gigantic rectangular fields with the perfectly straight roads connecting them. I mean, I get that that is like a representative of that style of industrial scale German farming, but it's just not for me. Germany and USA? Okay. I know, well, I mean, when I got into it, there was a big UK contingent, but I do think it's dropped off a little bit, and I'm not sure why. And man, it is, as a US player, it is so frustrating. I think there's been one US map that I've played ever that actually looked like the United States, and that is Lone Oak by Bullet Bill. It's amazing how accurate that map is. I think he may work with Street View. I've seen some streams of map makers actually building their maps. They live stream it, and they've got Street View open on one window, and they're just going down the street, right, 30 or 40 feet at a time, and whatever they see in Street View, that's what they add to the map. Because when I drive on some of those roads in Lone Oak, I can't imagine how else he did it, because like every little detail, the signs, wow, it's amazing. Like even the cables holding up the power poles, the way that they're angled, it's very specific, very unique to like the rural United States, rural America. And it's a small detail, but it's one of those details that really makes a map seem authentic. That's the only map I've ever been on that really looks like America. Like the American Outback base game map in, what was it, 15 or 17? Or Westbridge Hills, or what's the one in 19? Ravensport. Yeah, Ravenwood was from Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's something different. But it doesn't look like anything. I mean, parts of it look like Southern California, San Diego, right down into Baja in Mexico, and other parts of it look like Minnesota. It's, you know, I get that it's stylized, but I like a map like this that, to me, it looks extremely realistic. I love it. All right, so we got, I think, 2 more lengths. Yeah, 2 more lengths and we're done. Not how I thought we would be spending this episode, but you know what? We do what needs to be done here on the farm, and it is 4:30 in game time, so the sun is just about to go down. Perfect. All right. We get that going, and we'll even finish. I didn't plan it this way, but we'll even finish on a down length. So we'll end up at the gate end of the field when we're done. Perfect. I was going to put tram lines in this field, but now I'm not. We'll just use row crop tires and call it good. I mean, I like the demanding realism of I gotta figure out why that mirror is flickering. You seeing that? Right there? That mirror right there keeps flickering. And I have my game settings, I have us on 10 mirrors. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know why that would be flickering. Typically that's when it does it, is there's a mirror rendering somewhere and it's taking your mirror count up above what you have it set to, but I have mine set as high as it'll go. What was I talking about? What was I upset about? Oh, right, cattle and crops. Like, we're not going to put tram lines in this field. I want to. I think they would look great on a big field like this, but I just want to be done with it, right? So you can do that in Farm Sim. You can fix things. You can skip over things. Cattle and crops, I feel like you don't have that option. I wouldn't say that I made a mistake. We tried to use bull slurry that we were buying from the harbor last episode. We ran out 80% of the way through the field, and there's really no way to fix it. There's really no way to match the chemistry of bull slurry to the last. Well, there is a way to do it. What we would need to do is use single type fertilizers. Spread them 15 meters wide in exactly the right proportion on the last 20% of the field. But you know, I just didn't feel like doing that. It's hard to explain why. I mean, I like realism. I like challenging. I mean, I go out of my way to make these games as challenging as I can for myself. But at the same time, you know, you can, I think, cross a line where it's like, yeah, okay, this isn't fun anymore. And ultimately, I think we play video games to have fun. Whether it's difficult or challenging, or whether you have to fail a certain amount of time or make mistakes a certain amount of time to learn how to do it properly. You know, that sucks when it happens, but ultimately, are you having fun? Are you enjoying yourself as you play that game? If the answer is yes, then that game is working. But when you get to a point where it's like, yeah, no, I would rather just do something else, then it's time to step away from it. So I'll dip back into cattle and crops. I mean, credit where credit is due. They have done unbelievable things from the early access to the full retail. There's still some bugs, and it still has a ways to go, but I almost didn't reinstall it when it came out full retail, because I had read so many comments that it was, you know, the early access, even just a couple weeks before release date, was still a hot mess. And people were thinking there's just no way they can fix this before release date. It can't be done. And I mean, that made sense to me. I played it in early access a lot and was really kind of disappointed. But to play it in full retail, you know, it works. It's not perfect, but it works. So let's turn this off and turn that off. I think we've got enough room to open the gate, so we're going to turn this off. Go back here. Off. Off. All right. So yeah, credit where credit is due. They've done amazing things with it, and I will duck back into the game periodically, but I had to step away from it. It was just getting too grindy. All right. So this field has 2 layers of fert, but I don't think it's going to be able to take a third one until it starts to sprout. So we're going to pull right out here. We're going to get rid of the implements that we have on. And we're going to do that right here and right here. So we're going to return that. And we're going to return that. All right, good back there. Let's take this thing back and park it up at the farm. How are we doing on time? A little over an hour. Perfect. We'll take this thing back and park it up, then we'll run to the farmhouse, sleep through the night, and see what our fields look like tomorrow, and if we can get some fertilizer on those. But we'll also have to see how we're doing on our wool. We've got 2 pallets spawned in now. One is done, one is almost done. I think by tomorrow we'll have 3, but I don't know if all 3 will be done. And I think we can put this, let's just stuff it right in here for now. All right. All right. That's done. So that's there. The Ford is there with the spike on the back. We have our animals fed. There's wool spawning. We have our fert. Okay. Let's run down to the farm. Whoa, don't run into the wall. Let's run down to the farm. It is 5 o'clock now, so if we sleep for... Let's sleep for 12 hours. And see how things look in the morning. Oh, and I definitely, before we sleep, I want to take a look at the growth state for the grass. So if it does grow overnight, that we can close that. If the grass does grow overnight, that we can notice a difference. So if it's yellow tonight, is it going to be orange tomorrow? Or I guess it would be green tonight. Blue? I don't know. It'll be some color. You know what I mean. Because right now it is the harvested color, is it not? We'll take a look. All right, so if we go right in here and open this up, we want to go here, fields 40, 78, and 77. All right, turn the grass on. And they are growing, but they're not gold or orange yet. Okay. And this, oh God, field 37 is a mess, man. Look at that. That's ridiculous. And then everything is good here. And yep, we'll need to do fert in 37, 72, and 6, and a second layer of fert in 40, 78, and 77. First year, you only get 2 layers of fert. Is that correct on grass? Because it can only grow once or twice. Yeah, something like that. Sleep trigger, right there. And we're... What? Hang on. Moment, please. Speed time up a little bit. I'm going to have some coffee. I think it has to be 6 p.m., 8 p.m. All right. Slow down time and try it again. All right, back down to 5. There we go. And we want to sleep for, it's now 6 p.m., so let's sleep for 12 hours. See how things look in the morning. I think the trees are going to green up. Oh. The bunny. The bunny. Wow, it's dark. Okay. All right, it looks like some grass has grown. So let's take a look on here first. All right, the grass has grown. Now, can we harvest it again? Can we fertilize it again? I don't think we can. And you know what? I don't think it matters. Let's go ahead and focus on mowing. Let's get this cut as soon as possible. And then we'll focus on 3 layers of fert for second cut. And what is the... What's the status of everything else? Planted, so everything else hasn't sprouted yet. So I don't even think we can fertilize the canola and the wheat yet, because it hasn't even sprouted. So the state of the field is how I think of it. The state of the field has not evolved yet. It's got to go from one stage to the next before you can do anything to it. So this is same as we left it yesterday. I am doing seasons, definitely. I always play with seasons. I know a lot of streamers and tubers don't, but I love it. I can't play without it. So this field is no different than it was yesterday, and that means it cannot take fertilizer at the moment. So that means we are going to be mowing now. How unexpected. And what do we want to do? Let's take a look at the forecast first. If we go here, let's see if we have any rain on the way. If we don't have rain on the way, yeah, today is Thursday, so tomorrow's Friday. It's not supposed to rain until Saturday. Okay, so we have some dry weather today from 9 to 6 is good drying conditions. So let's mow. Oh, how do we want to do this? Let's mow field. Let's mow field 7-7 for bales. I mean, they're all going to be bales. Because we don't have any place to sell silage at the moment. They're all going to be round bales, but I want to start with 7-7 because it's the flattest of the three. This is 7-7. Where's it up here? Right here. Yep, this is 7-7, and it's the flattest of the three. I mean, this isn't the most grass that we can get. I want to say, no, I don't think we can fertilize again after it's turned gold, but I think it will turn orange and then we get double yield. But I want to get this in now, both for animal food and also so we can get a full yield on the second cut. All right, so mowers. And how much money do we have? 13 grand. And we've got... $175 horsepower. Oh, all right. 175 horsepower. That's 80. 160. 80 and 200, so that's 280. I mean, that's nice. Is it 4D? Yeah, 4D makes a version of this, or did. That's always been one of my favorite mowers. Let's lease one of these. Yeah, let's lease one of those. Like that, $1,000. Okay. All right, and we'll take the Ford down and pick it up, and let's get to mowing. All right. Here we go. And we could even do a hybrid as well. We could mow field 7-7, see what kind of yield we get. If we get, I don't know, 20 bales out of it, then we can assume we'll get the same amount from field 3-7. Better buying it. At the moment, no, we're down to about 10 grand. And we do have canola in. We have 2 fields of canola in, and that hopefully will give us about 35,000, 40,000 per field. And we've got 3 wheat fields in. So between selling the wheat and selling the straw bales, we should be able to make some money. And we've got wool as well. But at the moment, I can't buy it. I want to, because we're going to be doing plenty of grass work, but we're just too broke. All right, and before I forget, because I'm getting dry, before I forget, let me have some coffee. Better. I always forget to drink when I'm streaming. All right. The hedges are in. The hedges have greened up. I don't think the trees have yet. They still look bare. But the hedges are green, and we're still pretty close to 60 FPS. Just a bit under. So we'll see how we do when the trees come in. Yeah, I want to use as much as possible from these DLC, because they all the DLC, well, most of the DLC came out after I stopped playing the game. The only one I had was the John Deere, but I didn't play the Borgo, which is not really, doesn't really fit on this map. Oh, I take that back. I got the Anderson as well. And I haven't used the any of the Caverneland stuff. And then the Alpine DLC, the Mountain DLC, that just dropped a few weeks ago, but I figured I own it all anyway, so why not? You know, I've got the season pass, so why not? And I guess the precision farming is going to be free. It's a DLC, but it's a free DLC. Yep, Pro Gamer, I am on PC. And as much as I want cattle and crops to succeed, I think if precision farming is, I don't know, how do I want to say this? If it is the, if it can give the impression, give the feeling of soil chemistry and fertilizer chemistry without feeling grindy, approximately, I'm from South Lake Tahoe, California, and right now I'm in North Carolina. But that's not where I was born. If precision farming can give approximately the feeling of fertilizer chemistry without feeling grindy, I think cattle and crops is in trouble. I don't want them to be, but I think they might be. All right. So what's this thing look like? And the sun is coming up. I know it was 6 a.m., but we are on 5x time. Looks all right. Hey, John, how you doing? Looks all right. I'll take it. All right. Let's get hooked up here. Oh, damn it, man. Damn it. Ah, we brought this thing down here with us. My bad. All right. Well, at some point, probably off camera, I'll have to come back down and pick that up. Go for question. I'll try to answer it. All right. So we got dynamic hose. I mean, these little trailed mowers, they look little, but then you see them in real life and they are gigantic. All of this stuff is big. Even the T-Dub. You know, the T-Dub is, I think of it as a small tractor, but then you see one in real life and it's as big as a van. All of this equipment is just so big. I forget that farm equipment is essentially industrial equipment. Really, it's what it is. It's industrial equipment for a specific industrial use. What would make my beacons so dim you can barely see them? Are you talking about a mod or base game? Both. Okay. Let me ask you this. When let's get around the bend here and go third person. When you turn your beacons on, do you see them on things around you? Right? So like when we turn these on, we can see them on the hedges and on the trees. When your beacons are on, do you see that? Okay, so there's a setting in the game options before you start a save game, right? Like the main menu options. There is an option. It's something like realistic beacons or functioning beacons or something. I believe it's the only menu option with the word beacons in it. But take a look there, and that should be on. But depending on what graphics card you're running, well, if you're on PC, graphics card. If you're on console, I don't know what it does to performance. But if you're on PC, having beacons that reflect off the terrain can beat up your frame rate a little bit. But I would take a look there first and see if the beacons are even on in-game. And we're stuttering a little bit through here. I think we're loading textures. We're seeing all the things that were behind us on the way down the hill. And we've got... Yep, give that a try. We've got a mighty swing to make here. We've got to make this right turn onto the lane to get down to the wool operation. And we'll see how it goes with this thing on the back. I'm going to try to do it first person. And I also... what field are we going to? 3-7? Yeah, 3-7 is over there a ways. All right. Oh, we're not going to 3-7. We're going to the other one. 4-0. Okay. I know things. I remember things. Eventually. I can't believe I drove down to the store with that little spike on the back. I'm sure I'll be down there for something else, but the thing is I'll have to go down there with nothing on the back. I mean, I guess I could drop the front weight off the JCB. Like, if we need to go pick something up, we need to go pick up a trailer or something, I could drop the front weight off the JCB. Yeah, in fact, we'll do that. Like, if we need to go get a rake or something, we'll just drop the front weight, pick that spike up, and bring it back up to the farm. All right, here's our turn, and we're not going to field 4-0. We're going to field 7-7. I forgot that too. So let's go here. Let's see if we can swing this carefully. Carefully. Oh, look at that. Oh, just went right through that hedge. Yeah, this thing is, I mean, yeah, this is a tight map. It really, really is. I think 3 meters is going to be our max. So really, I mean, we're not fitting down here. This thing would not fit. And I don't want to say it's too late. I mean, we could always take it back. Yeah, we could do that. We could do that. Hang on. You want to? You want to play that realistically? So if we go here, yeah, I think we could go with just a front mower on the JCB, right? That's from the Cavernaland pack. Or we could go with this side mower on the Ford. I mean, I'm all about realism, but what do you think? Is it worth? Because that's not what we're doing right there is not realistic. It's kind of bugging me. All right, let's do it right. Let's do it right. So we'll go here, we'll go here, we'll return this. I guess we'll just bag up. Bag it up. So what I'm going to do is go to the store. I'm going to pick up the Cavernaland. Is it Cavernaland or is it Vicon? I'm going to pick up the front mower with the Ford because we already have the Ford this far down here. And then I'm going to just bring it up there on the back. We can't use it on the back, obviously, but I'm going to bring it back to the farm on the back, drop it, and then we'll put it on the front of the JCB. All right. Yeah, I mean, I think 3 meter max for this map, not so much because of the fields or gates, but because of the lanes. You know, I mean, well, I was saying at the store that this stuff is all really big. Even small equipment is big in comparison. Big equipment is massive, but I would think of that as a small mower and still too big for these lanes. So we'll go get the that 3 meter or 3.2 meter front mower, and I know that will fit. But even when it comes to things like drills and subsoilers, I think 3 meter is going to have to be our hard limit. So that will, I mean, we got all the fields that we have now done with 3 meter equipment. But I think there are some bigger fields on the map. And, I mean, everything, if you've got enough time, everything can get done. But the idea of doing some really gigantic fields, I mean, field 26 is probably twice the size of field 7. Field 13, 2 to 3 times as big. Field 18, you know, those are really big fields. But if 3 meter is all we can fit, then 3 meter is all we can fit. Now, as we operate on different parts of the map, we may be able to take equipment down, like this lane that we're on, or the lane that we turn onto to get to the wolf farm. Admittedly, very tight between the hedges, but there are some bigger roads on the map. So it could be that if we're only going from the store to another field and we can take a bigger road to get there, maybe we could go 4 meter, right? Or 6 meter folding or something. I don't know, whatever. But for the moment, operating where we are up north, I think we need to have a hard limit of 3 meters. All right. I feel better about this. We did just waste 1,000. Is it a grand for that? Yeah, I think it was. We did just waste 1,000 pounds. This is why I go broke. But I don't know. It just felt like we cut enough corners. You know what I mean? We've done some corner cutting in this episode. I don't want to make a habit of it. All right. So we want this thing right here, only because we haven't used it yet, and it is VCon. All right. I love that. Mowers cut grass. They certainly do. Now what is this? Out. Okay. I like Cavernaland. No real reason why. I just like it. There's another 1,000 pounds. All right. And where is the front of this thing? That's the front. Okay, so we get a back up here. I didn't line that up very well. But my track IR, I need to tweak my curves a little bit. For the most part, I'm really happy with them. But for some things to look at them, I have to turn my head so far that the sensors like go out of range. The camera on top of my monitor can't see the sensors anymore. So I need to tweak that a little bit. Because beyond a certain distance, it just stops moving. All right. I'm also wondering, I know what trailer I want to use. I've got some Broen trailers by 4D that I really, really like. Slide over here a little bit. Give him some room. I've got some Broen trailers by 4D that I really like. I've made some edits to them myself. I put some LEDs on them, you know, as people do. It would be under graphics, and I think it's advanced graphics. It's not a game setting, it's a graphics setting. And it wouldn't be in the... Yeah, it's not in the pause menu. It's definitely in the main menu. But I think... yeah, try graphics and then advanced settings. Or video and then advanced settings. I know it's there. I typically go 2 to 3 hours, and we're about an hour and a half now, so at least another 30 minutes, probably more like another 90 minutes. And this does, I wasn't going to use, again, trying to play realistically, I wasn't going to use GPS. I mean, you don't really need GPS for mowing because you can easily see what you have and have not mowed. But because this vehicle doesn't have a GPS aerial, I was just going to do it by eye, but the JCB does have a GPS aerial, so we may use one. We may use field guidance for that. Okay. No worries, Leo. I'll see you later today. If not, we're going to stream probably ATS tomorrow, possibly X-Plane. And then on Tuesday, 1 o'clock Eastern, we're going to do the Precision Farming DLC. Well, as close to 1 o'clock as possible, because it drops at 1. So I'll need to download it, but I'm not going to play it until I play it in Livestream. I want to discover it with you. All right, brother. See you in a bit. All right, let me go right down here. Again, carefully. I know these hedges don't have collision, but at the same time, I don't want to, you know what I mean? I want to take advantage of it. It is 14:35 for me right now, 2:30 in the afternoon. Yeah, no doubt, Pro Gamer. I'm really curious to see what's in it. I really am. I don't know, man. I feel like since 2019, I've been really cautious with developers. I feel like developers are, I wouldn't say taking advantage of us, but video games are evolving. They really are. And you know, the fact that everything is delivered digitally now, I feel like it's given developers a lot more room to do things wrong, for lack of a better word, and then fix it later. So starting in 2019, that's when I really started to wonder about, you know, how serious some developers were about taking care of their customers. I know some definitely are. There's some developers, you can feel the love, you know, but there are others, it's like, you know, I'm not feeling any love at all. So nothing would surprise me. Precision farming could be absolutely amazing. It could be a total letdown. It could be anywhere in between. But I'm really, really curious. All right, and I'm going to, I think, swap this weight to the rear, because one of the things that I love about that box is it is a toolbox as well. So I think we'll throw that on the rear, both as a weight and so we've got some tools with us when we're out working. You know, the other thing we could do, careful. You know, the other thing we could do, just drive it backwards. How do you feel about that? There's the goddamn flute song. There are 295 songs in this set list. It plays that flute song constantly. I don't get it. I'm just taking a look here. Yep, we can't flip the console in this tractor. So what do we want to do here? We want to let's do this. I was seeing if we could just flip the console around and drive backwards, but no. The short answer is no. We cannot do that. All right, so we'll go here. We'll lower that. Drop that. Go right back here. Add that right over here. All right, we're gonna make this happen. And we've also got, let me see. So that's 26, 5. We're coming up on about $8,000 of wool. And we'll wait till we got 4 pallets. That'll be 10,000, and we really need that money right now. So timing is going to be perfect. All right, so let's put this on here as a weight, and then we'll head over to field 7-7. I don't know how much of this we're going to get done. And before we take off, I'm just going to double check, because I know when you put, realistically, this is a front weight. Sometimes when you put a front weight on the back, it will clip into the tires or fenders, but it looks like it's okay. All right, here we go. And it's not this one, it's the next one. Both these driveways look kind of similar going off to the right there. It's this one. So turn that on, put those on, get this open. I mean, maybe it would defeat the whole purpose, but I wouldn't mind seeing some triggers, I guess, warnings, something to give some indication of whether or not you'll have enough time to turn hay. Does that make sense? Like, I checked the weather, and I think we will be okay. But just a, I don't know, some kind of like a window to confirm that. Um, hmm. There we go. That's what we want. It was raising and lowering my weight on the back. In the calendar in seasons, a little window to indicate like, yeah, this is a good time to make hay. This is not a good time to make hay. I guess it's easy enough to figure it out. And like I said, that would kind of defeat the purpose if it was holding your hand like that. But I do need some reminders sometimes because I don't know, man. I get in a hurry. I forget stuff. And we are mowing. We're not mowing very much. I don't think we're going to have a ton of yield because these fields they're not fully grown and they only have one layer of fert on them. But I did want to get this done now so we can hopefully get 3 cuts this year. So we're going to mow as soon as we're able to, rather than waiting and trying to get more fert on this. And I think, if I remember from when I was playing this game last year with seasons and the way everything is set up now, I believe that you can fertilize. So we can put 1 layer on. When we're done today, it will be purple. It will be harvested. We can put 1 layer on. Then we can put a 2nd layer on when it's light green. And a 3rd layer on when it's dark green. But you cannot fertilize once it turns orange. But what you can do, well, once it turns gold, rather. But what you can do is then wait until it turns orange, and that increases the yield. So I think the highest net we can get for the year is if we cut this right now and then immediately get fertilizer on it. I hope. Because if not, we're just wasting time in grass right now. This looks all right. I have to say, the graphics look good. I'm really liking these little, I don't know, the way the shadows are kind of moving across the windscreen. That's a nice effect. They did do okay in the lighting for 19. I never liked the glare. I always felt like a J.J. Abrams movie where like every metallic surface, if sunlight touches it, it just burns your retina. I thought that was a little over the top. But no, it is a good looking game. And I wouldn't necessarily say that I've missed it, but I'm glad I came back to it when I did. Yeah, this is going to take a minute. I think, where are we at? We're coming up right about 2 hours, so I think what we might do is just continue mowing this field. Now, we could put this on courseplay because we've got the island avoidance in courseplay now, which I think will take it around these power poles, maybe. But if we did that, we really don't have anything else to do in the meantime, right? We can't start tedding yet because we wouldn't have enough grass done. And none of our fields will take fertilizer because they haven't grown yet. And yeah, I think this is it. Okay. So I think for the foreseeable, we are going to be mowing here. All right. Well, there's worse things, I guess. Can I do a multiplayer game? You know, I tried a multiplayer server earlier in the channel, and I feel like we didn't have enough people, but I'm always down for trying new things. So whether it's 17 or 19, yeah, I would love to get a multiplayer server going. And in fact, I think we still have, yeah, in the Discord, we still have the voice channels, the private voice channels for MP, so I can put that on the list. I will, yeah, let's do that. Let's get a multiplayer server going. You thinking 15 or 17? 15 or 17? No. Forward. 17 or 19? 15. I don't know where that came from. Are you thinking 17 or 19 for MP? 19. Yeah. Let me take a look tomorrow. I think the company that we were using before has 19 servers as well, and I was real happy with them. They're mostly Minecraft servers, but they do FS as well. Yep, I will get it going. Hop in the Discord or DM me in the Discord and introduce yourself to Freddie and Owen, and we'll get things moving forward. I'll look into that tomorrow. Have some information for you. I'd say no later than the end of the week. All right, and this is when I try not to make super tight turns with any type of implement, so I kind of veered off there. Link is in the description. Should be down below. Yeah, I'm trying not to like crank the wheel over there. So we're gonna end up with those little odd bits sticking out on the corners till we get those trimmed off. I find that any field that isn't perfectly rectangular, you always end up with that little triangle at the end, right? Where you're just making turn after turn after turn, trying to whittle away at that little triangle. Oh, farming. I don't know if it's like that in real life. I know with everything being GPS driven now and like super efficient, you know, the absolute like most optimal path as you plant a field or plow a field or whatever, everything is GPS controlled. Maybe you don't have that little triangle anymore, but it seems like that little triangle is like that happens in real life as well. You're on console? Does 19 have crossplay? Don't know. Off the top of my head, I don't know if 19 has crossplay. Okay. We will, yeah, get with Owen and Freddie, because they're up to speed on mods a little bit more than I am right now. But we'll figure out what mods won't work on console. And I think Seasons, I don't know, Seasons doesn't work as well for MP. I don't think it does. I think, because MP always ends up silage. It just always ends up with like tons of grass work or baize work. I feel like MP just works better without Seasons. But if there are other mods that are not available on console, assuming that there is crossplay, cross-platform, I can't even say off the top of my head. But if there is cross-platform, then we'll figure out what mods don't work on console and go from there. Seasons is on console now. Okay, I didn't think it was. I thought it was too scripty. Oh, that's fantastic. All right. Well, I mean, nonetheless, I don't know that Seasons is great for multiplayer, but I have no problem hosting the server, but ultimately it's up to you as the players to decide how you want it set up. You know, as far as what mods or what DLC. So, but yeah, we'll figure it out. All right, and yeah, at some point we'll need to trim off that little corner back there that just keeps growing and growing. But we're, well, I don't know, maybe. I was thinking we're making pretty good progress in this field, but it's a pretty big field, and we haven't even finished up the headland yet. You know what? It's a farm simulator. You got to expect there's going to be some farming. I think we get spoiled because so much gaming now, we get to do it like entirely on our own terms. Normal, no mod, Davenport. Okay. What do you got for DLC? Because that would be the next thing is Ravenport. Ah, that's old school. I mean, I like where you're coming from, because with no mods, it definitely simplifies things, and it means really that anybody can play, and you're not like trying to trade around mods or keep your mods current. So yeah, I think there's definitely some advantages to that. Ravenport, I don't know. Let's figure it out in the Discord. I'm not opposed to anything. You know, whatever works for the players works for me, and I don't even know how often I can get on there. But I'm happy to set up a server for you, and I'll hop on when I can. But ultimately, the people that are going to be spending the most time on there, I think they get to sort of vote on what works best for them. But yeah, I'm down for anything. Whatever works best. All right, and bring this around here. Yep, I'm getting some room to work in here now, so that's nice. And at some point we'll need to, well, we're going to be going to lengths pretty soon here. We won't have to deal with any of these little goofy bits on the corners. Yeah, off the cuff, I don't know what we're going to get for yield for this field. I really don't. Now, I've still got up top, I've still got the wet field indicator, but I feel like we've had that for 4 days. I feel like that's never gone away. Is that in seasons now? Is that like a morning dew thing? Like, I'm not being an ass when I ask that. That's a serious question. Are we going to have moisture every morning until we get into high summer? Unknown. All right, so let's do this. I'm going to, I think we've got enough room to turn now at the ends of the field. So I think, they're not going to be proper lengths, but I think we can make, right, so that's like a straight up and down over there. And then the whole rest of the field, I feel like we can do a great big horseshoe and just do our lengths this way. If that makes sense. Yeah, I think that'll work. So we come around this way. I'm going to leave this for now, because we do want to ultimately trim that off. Yeah, I think that'll work. Okay. And I think there's a rake. Yep, I think there's a rake in that Alpine Farming DLC. Or in the Cavernaland. I don't know. There's a rake in one of them. I'm trying to use all stuff from the DLC, because I haven't used it a ton lately. You know what I mean? Been away from the game, as they say. Alright, and I think... yeah, I think this will work. So we're just going to go back and forth on this sort of outside edge of the field. And this is the most distance we can get without making a turn. If we just follow this around the outside. Okay. Let me be a little tight. I mean, I know there's like a maximum turn that you would make with something like a plow or a subsoiler, because you'd snap the tines off. And combine headers are sort of limited in how tight they can turn, but I don't know how tight you can turn with a mower. I mean, I guess if you turn too tight, you would just get the thing all balled up with wet grass. Interesting. Are you on console or PC? Did I ask you that already? PC. What graphics card are you running, and are your drivers up to date? All right, this is working out. I think this is a pretty efficient way to do this. UHD 610. I'm not familiar with that card. Next thing, I mean, I know it's like a really silly thing to say, and people say it, and it's annoying as hell. But are your drivers up to date? Swiss farming guy. Swiss farming guy in Belgium. All right. How you doing? How's Sunday treating you? I don't know. I mean, where does that card land on the spectrum? Like, is that, if you had to rank that card, like, against Nvidia, against AMD, like, where would you slot that card in it? I'm not familiar with it, so I don't know. Is it a powerful card? Is it more of an economy card? Because it could be that you just maybe don't have the horsepower to render those lights. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to know. There's a lot of variables. Oh, that's great, Swiss. That's very cool. What'd you stream? When you first got the game, they worked. Okay, that's I don't know. That's kind of a mystery. I'm tempted to say that's a setting. Maybe something got overwritten in an XML file. I mean, it could be that the Giants did something in the render, that they made some adjustment to the lighting, and that's why they're not working anymore. I don't know, man. There's a lot of variables. It's really hard to say. I would maybe start a thread on Steam if you got the game through Steam. Try Reddit maybe. I mean, there's just so many variables. You know, I could start throwing ideas at you, but I don't know that any of them would be super helpful, because it's I mean, it could be anything from they're just not going to work anymore to like a simple 30-second solution. You know, you got to go in and manually put in like DX11 or something. Green River 2019. Oh, Green River 2019. Why does that sound so familiar? I don't know if I played that or not. It sounds familiar though. Let me ask you this, John. Are you running any shaders? Are you running reshade or anything like that? Try Reddit. I mean, try Google and Reddit. See if anybody's having the same problem and what they did to fix it. Yeah, that's hard to say. I mean, like I said, I could just start throwing ideas at you, but it's, you're just kind of randomly trying stuff. And that's what I would do if I was having that problem. I would just start randomly trying things. But, I don't know that that's necessarily the best way to solve the problem. Could be that you solve problems differently, but yeah, it could be any of like 100 different things. I know you can manually edit the XML file to force DX11, and that will sort out some lighting problems. But again, that's just it's almost random. because every system is different. Every PC is different. And that's assuming it is your system and not something that Giants did to render the light differently. Have you reinstalled? Sometimes that helps. Hey, look at this dust coming up over the hood. That's a nice effect. I like that. I mean, everything, the color is so blown out because it's coming up on straight up noon. The color is so blown out in the bright sunlight. I can barely see where the edge of the grass is, and then that dust is coming up as well. But that's a nice effect. And you know what can happen with mods sometimes is the first time they run, they kind of force a change in the game, and even after you remove them, that change is still there. So sometimes you do need to reinstall. If you're not on Steam, I mean, if you are on Steam, you can verify game files. That's always a recommendation. Ah, okay. Check this out. So our wet grass icon just went away. And if I stop and look here now. So the grass that we're cutting now is already hay, and the grass to the left is wet grass. So only the grass to the outside will need to be tedded, I think. When you reinstalled previously, did that help? And let me ask you something else. When you back up to a wall, if you're in a tractor and you back up to a wall, can you see your brake lights and your reverse lights and your running lights reflected on the wall? And when you turned your beacons on, can you see those on the trees now? Very carefully. I'm trying to figure out if it's specifically beacons or if it's all your lighting in general. You can see the beacons real dim. Do you mean you can see the light itself or the reflected light? Because I guess there's two components of lighting in video games. There's the light itself, and then there's the light when it hits a surface. So when you're saying the light is dim, do you mean the light itself, or do you mean the light that it casts on a surface? Both. Man, I don't know. I wish I could help, but I really, like, if the same thing was happening to me, I would just start trying things. And there's so many of them. You know, there are config files for the game that you can just straight up delete. And the next time you start the game up, it will generate another one. And then there's other ones. There's other files where if you do that, the game won't start. So it's, you know, there's so many variables. I think Reddit is probably going to be a good place to start. Well, Google, and then Reddit, and see if you can make any progress there. Boy, this thing does not want to turn. We do have, we've got the four-wheel steering option. But that's a last resort. All right. I mean, we're making some progress. We're getting there. And I guess in hindsight, we've made ourselves some extra work here. If I would have just waited a little while or sped time forward, we wouldn't have to TED at all. We could just bail this up. But as it stands now, we're going to have to break the tedder out. And if we break the tedder out, then we're going to have to get the rake. So if we would have just waited... Oh! I always try to be efficient in my farming, but if we would have just waited till this field was dry, we could have just mowed, because we only have the single mower on the front. We don't technically need to rake. I mean, it's a really small swath, but you know what I mean? We could have skipped one step and not raked. But, alright. So we will... Yep, we'll grab a tedder. Are we going to have time? Yeah, I think we will. I think we will. We'll go grab a tedder when we're done here. And I'm just going to focus on this one field for now. We will... I'll do the others off camera. But we will get the wet grass turned. And then we'll bring a rake up here, and then we'll bring a baler up here. What's the over-under for how many bales we get out of this field? I say, I don't know, 12? 15? I mean, the first thing I want to focus on is animal food. And I think putting away 12 or 15 bales, because we're at, our animals right now need 26,000 for the year at 4,000 apiece. That is 7 bales. And we bought 4. So we really only need 3. So if we can put up 12 or 15 from this field first cut, our animal food needs, at least for wool, those needs are met for the rest of the year. We're more than covered. And that means we could do the rest of first cut in the other 2 fields, and second and third cut in all 3 fields. That can all go to silage bales that we can then sell. Am I using a steering wheel? No, I am on a gamepad. For some reason, I have a race wheel that I have to like work around. I have a wheel already set up directly in front of me, but I don't use it for Farm Sim. For some reason, I insist on using a gamepad for Farm Sim. Alright, well, you know, this little 3-meter mower, this is actually working. We don't have enough horsepower for butterflies. And if we're playing realistically, I don't think we ever would, because we'd need close to 300 horsepower if we wanted to have butterfly mowers. The trailed mower is too narrow. I'm sorry, reverse that. The trailed mower is too wide. The lanes are too narrow to get it up here. So this mower we have up front right now, I think this is the widest mower that we're ever going to be able to use, at least for this northern part of the map. If we buy other land down south and there's bigger roads to get there, that opens up some possibilities. But for the moment, this little mower that's on here, I think this is it. This is us. Oh, this is what you get for trying to play realistically. All right. And I'm going to double check. I remember seeing it go by on a seasons menu, but I need to double check because I didn't... Yeah, I wasn't exactly clear on the difference between wet grass, dry grass, and hay. Because I seem to remember that this does turn... When it turns into hay, it turns that really kind of light gold-green color. I don't know if... Yeah... I don't know if we can just bale this up right now, and that's hay. I think it's just dry grass. I'm going to ted the whole field regardless. Heavy equipment set from Logitech. I'm not familiar with that. I want to be familiar with that. I love the sound of it. Is that like the old Cytec side panel with the front loader joystick on it? I'm not even familiar with the thing that you speak of, but I'm fascinated. All right, here we go. Yeah, I'm reluctant to use my wheel. Well, for one thing, I'm so used to the gamepad and having all the like the macro commands for the front loader and getting out and walking around. And there was a wheel. I don't think they make it anymore, and it may even have been Logitech that made it. But it was a wheel, and it had thumbsticks at 10 and 2. Really? All right, I need to take a look for that immediately. Immediately. There was a wheel. It wasn't like Fanatic. It wasn't like a super high-end race wheel or anything. But there was a steering wheel that had thumbsticks at 10 and 2. And I thought that was perfect because when I get out, I mean, the only way that I know to walk around in this game, in this sim, is with the gamepad. I couldn't imagine trying to walk around using a steering wheel. So it's like every time I got out of the tractor, I'd be picking up the gamepad anyway. And that just seems, I don't know. I'd rather just hold on to the gamepad the whole time. So, yeah, and the other thing is now I wouldn't have to use them. I could use them for a shuttle, maybe. I could use them for various other things. But my paddle shifters are super loud. And you would be hearing that constantly. And I've also got kind of a big force feedback motor. And I worry that you would hear that grinding away the whole time. I mean, it's not grinding like it's not broken or anything. It's just a big-ass motor that's always like making sounds when the force feedback is in effect. So I'm reluctant to use a wheel, but I mean, I can always be talked into buying new equipment. You don't really have to make a lot of effort to get me to buy something. Always looking for new toys. But then, well, that's a problem because then I'd have 2 wheels. What am I going to do with my race wheel? You know what? I'd have to get another PC and set one PC up just for gaming and trucking, and one PC for racing and everything else. All right, that sounds like a reasonable answer. That's a long chat. Quality is not the most exciting. Yeah, I know you are. I was talking about it earlier in the stream. I've seen people streaming with the big setup where they have the wheel in the front and then they have joystick on both sides, right? So they can do, it's for farming and for logging, so they can run the logging equipment with twin joysticks. And I mean, I like that setup. I don't really have room for it. And at the moment, my rig is more focused on, I would say, racing and trucking than farming. But I like the look of those rigs. And I'm certainly not opposed to it. I mean, I really do. At some point, I really do need to split my rig and have one PC for gaming, one PC for racing on triples, and then one PC for everything else, really. And that would be like the dedicated farm rig. Right through there. Yep. You can use the side panel for ETS? Interesting. What do you use it for in ETS? Well, is that what you're saying? That you can use it for ETS? And if yes, what do you use it for in ETS? We're making pretty good time on this field. I thought it was going to take a little bit longer, but I mean, this is what we have to look forward to if we're going to be doing a lot of this with 3-meter equipment. Was it? It wasn't Holzer map, was it? It might have been Holzer map. There was a German map that I was playing in 19. It was when I was recording videos. I wasn't streaming it, but I got to the point where I was doing like 4 and 5 hours off camera for a 30-minute video because we had so much grass work to do. I think this map could get to be the same. I mean, one way we can avoid that is not to buy a lot more fields. Like if the 8 fields that we have 8 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we have 8 fields now. If the 8 fields we have now are enough, and we just sort of stay kind of static on the property that we own, I think I can handle this. But if we're using 3-meter equipment, and I need to do those other 2 fields off camera, you know, I mean, and you get to a point where you can definitely cheese it, right? Like when I'm not recording, I can just add in 20,000 pounds, rent great big equipment, drive it through the hedges to get up here, knock these fields out in half an hour, and then call it good. But that would bother me. I would know in my heart I was lying to you. I don't want to do that. So that means we'll have to run this entire farm with very small equipment, and it is going to be very time consuming. I mean, I don't mind, but I'm careful in games. The same thing just happened in Cattle and Crops not too long ago. I'm careful in games because I find if I'm like pushing too hard for the content, right? If I'm pushing too hard for the channel, I really stop enjoying the game. It really does begin to feel like work. Perfect for sequential. Ah. Interesting. Okay. I mean, yeah, I guess that works. Oh, there goes my voice. I guess that works. Because I use my flight stick now as my handbrake in rally sims. I saw somebody set it up that way. Because what I find is I can't use a button for the handbrake. It's too binary, right? It's either on or off. You touch the button and the car goes into like a radical slide. Whereas with the flight stick, it's analog, so you can ease into it, right? You can do a very controlled slide. So, I mean, there's certainly no reason why you can't cross-purpose equipment. Have I given up to FS19? I mean, I wouldn't say given up to it. I still prefer 17, but I did want to kind of get familiar with 19 again before Precision Farming drops next week. Tuesday. Yeah, you got to keep an open mind about games. You know, got to give credit where credit is due. 17 is still my favorite, but until Western Shore is done, they're really, I mean, I love 17, but I've got a lot of new titles to play. And to hop back into 17, I think is going to require Western Shore V2 or another map equally good. But as far as just, I don't know, hopping in 17 and playing a map that I've already played, that would be tough right now. I do love it. I have to say, it's my favorite version of Farm Sim, but we're really spoiled on content in gaming in this era. I have so many titles. I have titles that I feel bad because I don't spend enough time in them. You know, so it is, I wouldn't say that I'm like a sucker for novelty, but it's always fun to like, I mean, even coming back into 19 right now, I've never been on this map before in 19. It's Naveswell from 15 and 17. But I've never played this map in 19. So there's that novelty. There are these DLC that I haven't used because they were released when I was not playing the game. So there's that novelty. And there's just having been away from the game for almost a year. You know, so it's, I wouldn't say it's quite like a new game, but it's, I feel like I'm sort of learning it all over again. And it's definitely a contrast to Cattle and Crops. Yeah, it's, I mean, no game is perfect. And I do think in the Farm Sim franchise, I think 17 is the high water mark for me. But 17 is, it's not quite abandonware, but they're not doing anything with it. And I feel like a lot of the modders have moved on. So what we've got with 17 at the moment, I think that's all we're going to get. So for something like Precision Farming, you know, if that can bring some of that Cattle and Crops functionality to the Farm Sim franchise, you know, we got to be fair. If that's the thing that we said was missing from Farm Sim, and that's what made us interested in Cattling Crops, then when Farm Sim adds that, you know, we've got to give it a fair look. Yep, I got track IR. I'm so mad at myself that I waited as long as I did. I should have done it so long ago. But yep, I'm track IR in everything now. It's like every game I want to just see if track IR is compatible. I love it. So yeah, if Giants is continuing to evolve the franchise, I think it's fair to them to give it a look. And I have to say that, I mean, the game's been out for, what, 2 years now? A little over 2 years. And I have to say that they've sorted some things out since the game was released. It was, in fairness, it was a hot mess when it was released. And it was a super disappointment to realize that the developers were moving fully in the direction of more casual console players. But, you know, we've got to be fair. It's easy to hate on developers and it's easy to hate on games, but I always want to keep an open mind about games. You know, I never want to be a fanboy for a developer or for a game, right? That person that loves the game regardless of anything, but I don't want to go the opposite direction either and hate on a game even after the developers fix the things that I say I hated about it. Oh yeah, it's going to be a huge difference from 15 to 19. If you skipped right over 17, I mean, I would say you might be missing out, but everybody's mileage will vary. Hang on, this looks serious. Let me get to the end of this row and lift the mower. This looks like a serious thing that I have to read. Hang on. I gotta have some coffee too. I mean, the only one that I've ever run is Track IR. Well, no, I take that back. I used Track Noir, Track No IR, and it worked really, really well. It worked really, really well. The only problem is you have to have a camera on. And A, I don't like having a camera pointed at my face. And B, the way my setup is right now, like if you're running a laptop, it's perfect. But the way my setup is right now, I have a big monitor and it's a little bit further away. And I don't think I would get good tracking with Track No IR. But Track No IR it's free for one thing, and it works fine. So I have used that. Track IR, I find, works perfectly. I got the deluxe bundle with the little powered transmitter that goes on your headset. And I think it's amazing. It's so intuitive. It's amazing. I didn't think it would be this easy to get used to. And then the other one is Toby. I did not use that because I've got a wheel on my desk, and Toby has to be on the bottom of your monitor. So if I put the Toby strip on the bottom of my monitor, it wouldn't be able to see my eyes because my wheel would be in the way. 17 is better when it's heavily modded, but it's got to be heavily modded. I mean, the Farm Sim franchise base game by itself, it's not super realistic. You can mod it and give it a much more realistic feel. But there's a whole stack of mods, what I think of as like the realism mods, the crown jewels for 17. And in my opinion, you've got to run all those mods if you want it to feel at all realistic. Yeah, the lighting in 19 it's definitely different. I mean, I can't say that I'm a complete fan of it. It does look good. It has its moments, but it is a little bit artificial. Yeah, I'd agree with you. Yeah, agreed. And I think Giants has taken advantage of that for several years now. I think they have always relied on the community to complete their game for them. And that's a risky position for a developer to be in, because essentially if the mod community doesn't fix your game for you, it doesn't get fixed. And that's sort of what we're seeing with cattle and crops right now. And if I'm understanding this properly, well, if I'm not understanding this properly, please do let me know. But I tried to work on a couple mods in cattle and crops, and it seems like you've got to license C4 Tombstone to yourself to be able to unpack a mod and edit it. Just edit it. So I think the fact that there are really no mods for cattle and crops is that you got to spend several $100s if you want to make mods for that game. And I don't think it's a big enough player base for modders to make mods, because modders make money when they upload their mods to share sites, right? And every time you see the ads, they get a penny or whatever. So you can make a little money even giving away free mods. But if there aren't enough people downloading cattle and crop mods for you to make any money, who's going to spend several $100s to make mods, right? So I think that's an example of a developer that is counting on the mod community to fill out the content for their game. And the mod community is like, yeah, no, babe, I'm good. I don't want to make mods for your game. And so they're not getting made. And I think Giants, well, I know they have. I mean, just look at the past 5 years. Giants has always relied on the mod community to fill out their game. Look how long they relied on the mod community to bring John Deere into the game before they had the license, right? Not an officially licensed brand, but anytime a new farm sim dropped, that was one of the first things that got added was John Deere tractors, because people love them. So, you know what I mean? It's not costing Giants anything. They're not trying to negotiate that license. And there are plenty of John Deere tractors to drive, and they know it. They have to know it. I mean, they've got a mod hub, right? They know how important mods are. So it's like they've got a development team that works for them for free, which is nice. That must be nice for a company. Landy Kid put it well. Chrono Ultimate Review. Yeah. Yeah, the Chrono Ultima is, it's an amazing mod, right? Or even Straw Harvest. You know, I know there was a relationship there. There was a deal with Aerosoft, but, you know, why wasn't Seasons part of FS19? And I know scripting and console and, you know, all the various excuses, but why was 17 not part... 17. Why was Seasons not part of 19? With an option to turn it off if you don't want to use it. Those are the sorts of things that it would cost Giants money to put those things in the game. Why would they spend money when they could just have modders do it for free? Cleaning your mod folder. Do you use a mod manager to do that, or you do it manually? Me personally, I can't do it manually. They get too confusing. I need pictures. I got to be able to see pictures. All right, there's the mowing done. How are we doing on time? Oh, it's going to be close. So here's what let's do. Let's get this flipped around. I'm going to hit this last little bit here. Yes. Well, I'm using the 3 Real Dirt mods. I'm using a mod that smooths out steering on gamepad. And I'm using a grip mod, a realistic grip mod. Oh my goodness. I don't know why, but every now and then my phone wakes up. I got an Android. Well, it's a Galaxy, but it's running Android. Every now and then my phone wakes up. Google wakes up and is like, "Hey buddy, how can I help you?" All right, so let's drop this somewhere. Yeah, Giants is, I don't know, man. If SCS is the top of the if they're the pinnacle in terms of taking care of their customers, SCS is at the top. Who's at the bottom? I don't know. Dovetail, maybe? I'm trying to think of the worst developer. But I would say Giants is somewhere in the middle. They're definitely not at the top. And I mean, I get it. I get it. They're running a business. And if I was running a business and I found a group of people that was willing to work for me for free, I would be hard-pressed as a business owner to pass that up. But as a business owner, I think I would have to be aware of the fact that that puts me in a very vulnerable position. It really does. Because if those modders abandon you, all of a sudden your game is significantly lacking in content. All right, so I'm going to drop this. There's one, this is terrible. The one that I use, the only way that I can describe it is it's made by some guy named Tomas. I know, that's ridiculous, but it's called, like, I don't know, Mod Manager or something. But when you have it installed, we're going to lower that, drop that. When you have it installed, it's like Tomas something Mod Manager. It's under T, it's not under M. But it's great because it lists all your redundant mods, and I don't know how this happens, but I always end up with like multiple copies of the same mod. And it will segregate everything out and parse it so you can see your redundant mods, and then you can just keep the one that is the most recent, right? So like if you've got 1.0.0.1 and 1.0.0.2, etc., you can spot that straight away and delete everything except the most recent one. And I find that helps quite a bit. It took me from like 600 mods in my folder down to like 250. Yeah, I mean, we were running filters for a while. I've got them off at the moment, but I was running because Reshade is native to NVIDIA cards now. So we can run Reshade and I think make the game look a lot better, a lot less plastic. And have very little impact on FPS. Sorry, got distracted. Have very little impact on FPS. But again, you know, why are we as players fixing the game? You know, that shouldn't have to be that way. And that's not for Giants, that's for any developer. Any developer that sends a game out and says, well, you know, that's cool, you'll figure it out. You'll make it right. Well, I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about making it right. I saw, I won't say who the developer was, but they were, it's an SP game. It's not a multiplayer game. It's not a co-op game. It's not a PvP game. It is a single player game. And it does have a leaderboard, but it's a single player game. That's key to this. And a statement from the developer: if you get caught cheating, we will ban you. We have ways to detect it. We will ban you. We'll ban you from Steam. You can't purchase the game again in Steam, even if you want to give us more money. So, right, they were really heavy-handed about it. And they said over and over, you don't own this game. You're only licensing it from us. And I thought, okay, I like this licensing policy. Let's look at it this way. I'll give you €1 per hour for your game, up to €100. So if we start, right, if I license your game, because you said I don't own it, I'm licensing it from you. I license the game from you. I play it 1 hour and realize it's a piece of crap. You got €1 from me. And that's all you get. But developers don't want that. They want to sell you the game for full pop, right? And then later tell you, well, you don't really own it. Or, yeah, it's broken, but we'll fix it. But they want the money up front. I think if developers only got paid based on how much you played the game, we wouldn't see broken games anymore. Yeah, I bumped the scaling up to, I thought it was 150 was the max, but whatever the max was, so 200. I did bump the scaling up, but it was beating up my frame rate a little bit. There's a lot of clutter on this map. We need tedder. We want a tedder from the Alpine Farming. We just used the Cavernaland mower, and that is from the Cavernaland pack. So let's use something from Alpine Farming. This is 9 meters. This is 4 meters. But we do have power poles. Let's go with this one. All right, and we're going to lease this. Oh, God. We are just hemorrhaging money. This is terrible. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate developers, and I understand that they are running a business and trying to make as much money as possible, but I think they need to understand that it's not just kids playing games anymore. I mean, there are a lot of, like, grown adult people playing games, spending a lot of money on it. When I look in Steam, and you can do this, there's a tab you can go to that tells you how much money you've spent in Steam. And I was curious. I saw it somewhere. Yeah, this one's pretty good. We're at 60 right now. We'll dip back and forth between 60 and 50. The hedges are in right now, but the trees are not. The trees are still bare. So when the trees come in, I'm going to see what happens with our frame rate, and we may have to drop the scaling down a little bit more. Other than that, everything is on ultra. I saw. I don't know, something. I saw it somewhere. FU I drive a Ford. Okay, I can relate. I like the name. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. What was I upset about? Oh, I saw this thing and it was like, hey, here's how you figure out how much money you've spent in Steam. So I was curious and I took a look, and I wouldn't say that the number upset me, but it definitely surprised me. It's a lot of money. It's like a lot of money. A lot more than I thought. It really surprised me. So for a developer to come back at their customers, right? The people that give them money to come back at their customers like, yeah, well, whatever. We delivered most of a product. What's the big deal? It's only a video game. It's just pixels. You know, it seems like developers want it both ways. You know, they want big money up front. And then afterwards, it's like, ah, well, what's the big deal? Just a game. It's only a game. So 2019 for me is when it started. That's when developers really, I felt like they were really pushing the limits of what they could get away with. Some of them. Not all of them. But some of them. So we'll see how it all works out. I mean, eventually, if consumers push back, they will need to, I don't know, find a new way of doing things. Hang on. Road's pointed straight. Let me try to read this. Yeah, it was rough, I have to say. I mean, I'm laughing about it, but it was rough. It was surprising. I had no idea. I really didn't. Yeah. And then hardware on top of that. Because every time, I mean, some of this stuff, some of the equipment that we buy is really good. Like I've got a Wolverine Ultimate gamepad that feels like it was made by NASA. It's just like this big solid hunk, you know. It's amazing. Rumble motors. It's just this really perfect hand feel. And the last, hang on, now what's going on? There we go. The last Razer gamepad I had, I thought it was going to go on forever. I really got a lot more life out of it than I thought I would. So things like that, yeah, pretty solid. But other equipment that we buy, other hardware that we buy, it feels really tinny and plastic and really like not worth the money. But there's that as well. So between titles and hardware, you just pour money into this hobby. And I don't know, I guess I want to feel taken more seriously by the people I'm giving my money to. And sometimes I really don't feel taken seriously. It feels very one-sided. Hey, John, what's up? What can I do for you? All right, we go right through here. And we only need to TED the outside of this field, but I think I'm going to TED the whole thing. All right. So let's get up here. We'll get this unfolded. Oh, look at this. How's that physics working out for you? I'm kidding. Farm Simulator doesn't have physics. All right, but we do have... Oh, look at this green. This is from the real dirt color. Look at that, man. That is... Again, that really needs to be part of base game. Why isn't it? All right, here we go. Turn that on. Lower. And we've been in cab for the mowing. Let's go third person for this. And I think... Okay, it's coming back to me now. So, wet grass will never turn into hay. Dry grass will, but both have to sit in the sun. So, we only have to flip this wet grass into dry grass. And then we'll speed time up till this turns that green gold, and then we'll rake it, and then we'll bale it. Okay. Yeah, it really is. And I don't know if that's the physics mod that we're running. I mean, I'm calling it a physics mod. I don't know what else to call it, but it's a realistic handling mod. I don't know. I don't know if that's what's causing that. I mean, it's not that bad. Once you get moving, you can't really see it, but... No game is perfect. That's what I tell myself. No game is perfect. Other than Age of Empires. Alright, trying to find a good angle here for you. And as we get closer, I think we can double check. Yeah, that looks like it's the same color. The grass that we mowed after it was dry and this grass that we're flipping, is that the same? Oh, we're going to find out momentarily. But then I think it all does have to sit in the sun for a while. So it's 1 in the afternoon. I think we have till... well, we have till like Saturday before it's going to rain. So we don't need to worry about it raining on us. But I think our peak drying hours are from now till... Oh, getting a little stutter right there. Oh. I think our peak drying hours are from like now till 6 or something. So hopefully we can get this all dry. And then bring the rake up. I'm wondering if we're getting that stutter because we're looking at all those animals. I know some map makers, it doesn't matter how many animals you have, they will only like visually spawn in a certain amount. And others will just, as many as you own, that's how many they'll spawn. Just roasting your graphics card. Is that the same color? Yes, it is. Okay, so that means we don't need to TED what's on the inside. Okay. Perfect. So I think we've just got... wow. It took as long... it took as long to drive down to the store and pick up this tedder as it is to use it. And I don't think, because everything is dry now, I don't think we're going to need to use it on any of the other fields. I'm going to keep it just the same. I'm not going to return it yet. I am going to keep it in case for some reason we do need it. And this little bit right over by the entrance there, I'm not going to worry about that last little bit because I think we can make this turn onto this next length. Maybe. No, this is 2. We'll need to make a second pass. Not a big deal. But, yep, getting this knocked out quickly enough. And then what? Yeah, we'll just, I don't know, stand by the side of the field, read our newspaper while the time goes by. And as soon as the color pops for this, then we can head down and rent a rake. And I saw there were balers for that alpine... I keep calling it alpine farming. Is it alpine farming or mountain farming? Oh, whatever the new DLC is. I saw there is a round baler for that as well. And we started in this field that is relatively flat for exactly that reason. So we can go with round bales and not be chasing them all over. And because we're going to be using the alpine farming, right on. Where am I going to put all the bales? Oh, I don't know. And this is something I've also wondered about, because I know there's different styles of sheds on the farm. And I know one style is definitely for parking vehicles in. I don't know if you can or can't put bales in there. And then the other style, I guess, the other size is a lot smaller. And I think that is definitely meant for bales, but I've never gotten like clarification of that, specifically what barns get sheds and what get vehicles. Because I feel like in real life you would not want to really mix those two up. The best vehicles still leak a little bit, and anything with hydraulics is going to be leaking. So I feel like you would not want any type of oil or grease or hydraulic fluid getting on your bales. So it's like one barn for vehicles and one barn for food. But we'll find one down there. And then the other problem we have is the bale trailer that I like to use is by 4D modding, and it does not have auto load. So we're going to have to load these bales manually, and I don't like using the front loader. I really don't. I wonder if that's... no. Alright, yeah, I don't know what's going on with the physics on this thing. We're just going to let it do what it does. Do we have any more over here? Yeah, a little bit more up the side there. And I think, I mean, if the timing works out, because it's going on 2 o'clock in-game right now, if the timing works out, we may get done right about sunset again. Which would be perfect. I do love the way this game looks at night, but I know it doesn't make for the best video. He's missing the Alps? Yeah, he's pining for the Alps. He's positively vibrating with joy at the thought of going back to the Alps. I don't know how much EU equipment you would use on a UK map in real life. I mean, with, I don't know, I guess Britain was in the EU until fairly recently. So would this sort of equipment make its way to an EU farm? Are most of these equipment manufacturers in mainland Europe anyway? I mean, I know there's a bunch of trailer companies in the UK and Ireland, but I don't know. Would Pottinger be out of place on a UK farm? Is that unrealistic? All right, there's that last little bit right there. And very quickly going to get this thing folded up before it starts vibrating all over the place. All right. That's not bad. Except our whole tractor is sliding backwards. Oh, game. Could be possible. I think so. I think so. All right, that's all folded up. I'm going to dump this at the yard as well, just to get it out of the way. And we can stuff this right in here. So yeah, the shed that we're about to back into right now, is this vehicle only? Could you put bales in here? I don't know. Whatever the realistic way to do it is. Well, as much as possible. I mean, I don't want to be completely like goofy about it, but as much as possible, whatever the, whoa, jackknife, whatever the realistic way to do things is, that's how I want to do it. There we go. I don't think I've ever seen a Kloss tractor in the States, but I know they do sell them here. I think they do. All right, so I'm going to stop this right here. We'll turn that off. The reason we'll turn that off is I'm going to speed up time. And I think there's a mod that I'm running that causes the fuel use to accelerate when you speed up time. All right, it is a few minutes after 2 in the afternoon. I'm going to speed up time and see if this turns into hay tonight. If it does not, we don't have any rain forecast tonight. So we'll just let it continue drying overnight, come back in the morning. Although we'll get that wet field icon in the morning. We get that every morning now, don't we? That's supposed to represent dew on the crops. Yeah, deer and New Holland. A lot of New Holland in the U.S. Not as much case, I don't think, as there used to be, like back in the day. But there's still a lot of New Holland. Yep, we are... In this video, Gabe, we watch grass dry. We are literally watching this field, waiting for the grass to dry. I'm trying to think what else we could do. Yeah, I mean, if we fire up a vehicle, it's going to burn a ton of fuel with the time accelerated. But I'm pretty sure this is going to turn over right before sunset. And if it doesn't, we'll go down to the farm and sleep, and by tomorrow morning it should be dry. Come on. So we got about 2.5 hours gone. If we go here, yeah, the peak drying is till 6 p.m. And then we'll see if we pick up any dew in the morning. Yeah, I like Kloss. I'm a Mercedes fan in real life, and I guess they've got kind of a tie-in. They use Mercedes motors, or they license some technology from Mercedes. So, I mean, when you pick a tractor brand, you just pick one, right? You just pick the one you like the best. So, I guess that makes me a Kloss fan. I like the Zarian too. Something about the Zarian, is it the saddle track that has the cab forward? Like if they had tractors on Mars, they would look like the Zarian. There's just something so futuristic about that. I really like that look. I do like the New Holland Smart Track as well. I think that's a cool rig, but the uses for that are pretty limited. I think you got to get out into the Midwest, where you're talking about 50,000 acre farms, just massive farms, big cotton farms in Texas and Oklahoma, where you're hauling 60 and 70 and 100-foot wide equipment. All right, we're coming up on 8 p.m. and it's about to get dark, so I'm going to slow time down again because we're not dry yet, but I don't think we have time to get this done. Zarian with tracks. Interesting. I'm intrigued. Zarian with tracks. I've seen... there's like a Kloss 900 with tracks in base game. Well, it's in the Platinum, the Kloss Platinum expansion. I've seen a 900 with tracks, but I've never seen a Zarian with tracks. All right. I like the way this sounds. Oh, and you know what? Before I forget, let's return this equipment. We're not going to need it overnight, because I won't be using it again until we mow off camera. So let's not pay another 12 hours of rent on that equipment, because we're broke. We're down to like $9,000. And I think when we sleep, we may wake up to the no room at the wool spawn warning. And if that's the case, I will just I'll just let that linger for the moment, and then off camera I'll get those pallets moved, and the new ones will be backed up and just spawn in. Okay, so it is 8 p.m. A little bit before 8. Let's sleep 10 hours and go till 6, and see if that's dry. If not, we'll just speed up time again. What else can we do? Yeah. Okay, so that definitely does, I mean, it must represent dew because we've got the wet field marker, but it didn't rain overnight. So, all right. I mean, that's a cool feature that Realismus has included. I assume that has to be part of seasons, but that's cool. I like it. So does that mean this grass has to dry again now? Is it wet grass? Because if it is, we'll have to ted it again. I hope not. I hope not. Find out when we get down here. Yeah, drop it in the Discord. Swiss, I'd love to see it. Well, if it's private, DM it to me. If it's public, if you've got a link for it, a public link, you can just drop that under the Farm Sim franchise. Is this... that looks like the same color. Now we've got... Hang on. We've got this thing. Alright, that's not really telling me anything. But the color, it's not dark. So I think this is still drying or in the process of drying. Okay, so we will speed up time again. Man, I know this is rough. Just bear with me while we get through this process. You can make the nights brighter. How do I bring that thing up? You have to buy it first. So let's wait till the sun is all the way up. I'm going to turn this off. So you go into the store. You go to miscellaneous. This is if you're running seasons. Is it seasons? Yeah, I think it is. And it's called the MT9. So you buy the MT9, and it works on everything. And you bring it up. Great demand at Mole Valley. Well, we don't have anything to sell at the moment, unfortunately, unless it's wool. Hey, God. It's not wool, is it? That would be fantastic. It's not wool, it's eggs. $3,000 per 1,000. Huh. All right. All right, come on, son, do your thing. Can we go 250 on time? We'll cap at 120. Okay. Well, this will be dry momentarily. Can you play? Hell yeah, you can play. Hop on in here. All right. We're waiting for the big reveal. Come on, man. Come on, grass. And I think we're back in... Yeah, we're in peak drying time right now. So this has got to be done soon. Stormtrooper, we were talking earlier about getting a multiplayer server going again. I had one going for a while. I didn't maintain it. It went away, but we're going to get it going again this week. I will... I'll let you know in Discord, but we'll get an FS19. Yeah, I'll get one going this week, and I'll let you know in Discord what the name and login is and everything. And I think we're going to do 19 no mods, all DLC. But as soon as I've got the server set up, I will post it. Come on, man. Come on. And I think the dew goes away. I mean, you can if you want. But I'm going to open one as well. So, yeah. I mean, the more the merrier. I'm also curious when that wet... when the wet field marker goes away. I want to say noon is about when it dropped off yesterday. And I'm thinking that as we get further and further into the year, about 11. Okay. I'm thinking as we get further and further into the year and as it gets hotter during summer, I'm thinking that will go away earlier and earlier every morning. This right now, what you're seeing right now at this very moment, this is why streamers don't play with seasons. Standing here for like 10 minutes waiting for the grass to turn into hay. Come on now. I don't think I'm going to be able to today. I've got another another little while to go in this stream, and then I'm going to hop off and start dinner. I'm in the U.S., so it's late afternoon, early evening for me. But yeah, we'll definitely play together. Whether you get an MP server going or I do, find me in Discord, and we'll definitely get one going, and we'll play together for sure. All right, so fields are dry. Temperature is up. Wind is blowing. There's our wool pallet warning. So we've got 4 full pallets of wool. That's 10 grand. A little bit over now because the price went up. So that's 3. It's about 12,000. We really need the money. It's already 2 in the afternoon in this grass. Come on, bad. I can't go another day. This isn't already hay, is it? No, it turns that light green gold color. I've got spicy meatballs. Very spicy meatballs that somebody gave me as a gift. I've got some very spicy meatballs, and I'm probably going to make some, I don't know, some vegetables with it. Peppers and onions or something. I don't know. Saute those up. Glass of wine. All right. We're going to go till, I think, about 4 or 5. And if this hasn't turned into hay yet, I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like we're chasing the dragon. That's 4 p.m. When we get to 5 p.m., we got to open the codex. We got to take a look, because I don't think this is already hay. I feel very certain that it is not. But we're wasting days here because we have other fields that we need to be mowing. And we need to get fertilizer on all of these before they grow. And that's going to happen on day 7, right? Because everything happens in thirds on seasons. So hang on, let's take a look at the codex here. Grass and hay. Right. Grass is cut with a mower, right? Right. Use a tedder to turn cut grass so it can dry properly. Hay looks slightly lighter and less saturated than cut grass. So, is what we're looking at right now. I mean, because the only way we're going to know is if we rake it up and then start baling it. Then we'll see the, you know what I mean? We'll see the bar in the baler that will say either grass or hay. I mean, we got to do something. Try to make a video here. I cannot just stare at a field and wait for it to change color. It's already 5 p.m. I have to cut those other fields tomorrow and then get everything fertilized. Well, I have to cut them, and then we need a rake. We have to cut them, and then we have to rake them. This is interesting. It's a neat little gizmo right here. How wide is this thing? 3.5 meters. Oi! That's no good. What about this one? 12 meters. That's too big. How about this one? It's right in the middle. We go with this one? Let's do it. Standard. Wide. I don't know, man. Same price? Go standard. Who cares? All right. Another $1,000. All right. So we'll get this field raked up, and then regardless, we will rent a baler. If it is hay, we'll knock out a few bales and call it. If it is not hay, so if I have a link for PM, yeah, DM me in Discord. Stop on the Discord and DM me there. Yeah, we'll get this field raked. If it is hay, we'll knock out a few bales and call it. If it is not hay, we'll just call it, and I'll need to bring the tedder back up, spread it out again, and figure out what the delay is. I could have sworn that there were 3 colors. There was one color for wet grass, there was one color for dry grass, and there was a third color for hay, and it's like a light green gold. So my bet is that what's in that field is not hay. See above about Discord. See above. I can't scroll up very far. Yeah, the only way to PM me, I don't think you can PM in YouTube anymore. So I think the only way would be through Discord. But if you're not down with Discord, I don't know, we'll figure something out. Slow John, hang on. John. Yeah, I can't scroll up that far. I've got my chat on another monitor. But we'll figure it out. I'm driving way too fast. There we go. That's a little better. God, could you imagine driving a tractor that fast on a lane this narrow with visibility this limited? Be out of your mind. Okay, we'll do. We'll figure it out. All right. I do try to keep things moving in stream, and that was I knew I was pushing my luck there, watching the grass dry. But whether it's drying into hay or not, that was enough of that. We got to keep things moving here. Carefully peek around there. All right, we're good. All right, let's see what this thing looks like. It's the first time I've seen any of this equipment, but I'm really pleased with what I've seen so far. Yeah, pretty standard. I do like that in base game, as intricate or as detailed as these mods, well, they're not really mods, they're DLC, I guess, but as intricate as these may be, as many parts as they're made of, for the most part, they don't really seem to have any impact on FPS, which is, I mean, honestly, I would expect that. If a developer was adding content that impacted FPS, that would be not good. That would be a problem. But it does happen from time to time, and it's nice to see that really sort of detailed, intricate models that it's Dutch. I mean, I can generally figure out basic stuff. Are we talking about your Discord or my Discord? Because my Discord is all American. All right, and we did, yep. Just double checking to see if I picked that thing up. I have been known to drive to the store to get something and drive back without it. Done that more times than I can count. All right, here. Now, tomorrow for the stream, it's either going to be ATS or X-Plane. And I owe you a makeup stream for both of those. So between now and then, I'll figure it out. But it's going to be one of the two. Most likely Truck Sim. Driving the new Cascadia in Colorado. And there's been... So we got the Colorado DLC. Then the Cascadia released. Colorado DLC was payware. Cascadia was free. And they also released a little accessory pack, which I have to say was pretty disappointing. But I want to support the devs. But there's been a lot of content in December for ATS. Sort of makes up for the fact that we'll have to wait for Iberia, but honestly, that's not that big a deal. I mean, Europe is really big now in base game. I don't even use pro mods anymore because Europe is so big. So I got no complaints. I feel like SCS is taking care of us pretty good. I am looking forward to that TGV. I saw, so the two high-speed rail that we have now, one is Cologne and the other is Munich. Those are the two high-speed DLC in Train Sim World 2 with the, oh, carefully, with the ICE loco, right? Those are both 60 kilometers long. And something that I've heard from, I don't know, Train Sim people is you got to be careful with high-speed rail because those trains go so fast and most routes are like 20 or 30 miles long, most DLC. But as fast as those trains go, 20 miles of DLC would go by in like 7 or 8 minutes. So this DLC looks like it is 100K. So 60 miles. And it's TGV in southern France down around Marseille. So I'm really looking forward to what it is that you do with TGV for 60 miles. Because that's the other thing that I've heard is high-speed rail is so high-tech that the drivers really don't have to do a whole lot. It's mostly hands-off. So between the fact that the routes go by so fast and the fact that there's really not a lot to do, that's why train simulator developers stay away from high-speed rail. Yeah, very easy to do. X-Plane is, it's a dangerous habit. I am looking at 2 $100 aircraft. And that's on top of the DLC that I've already bought, the scenery, everything else. X-Plane is a very dangerous game to get. This is my... Wait, what? Oh, okay. I thought it was folding up again. It just... I think that's its sort of resting position. Okay. Let's see how this goes. And we got another one. Doing a little dance back there. I assume that has something to do with the physics mod that we're running. Okay, here we go. We're not making a very big swath. It's really not a whole lot bigger than the swath that was just coming out of the mower. So I think it's... The reason we're swathing right now is because we had to TED. Is that how you say it? Because we had to turn this and that spreads it out. But I think if we were just baling, we would do just as well to save a step and bale straight off the mower. Bale straight off what comes out of the mower rather than raking it. Right? We'd save the rental fee and we'd save 1 evolution on the field. But I don't think we're... You know, it's not like a 10 or 12 meter rake that's creating a massive swath for us. Plus, there's really not a lot of output from this field. We only had 1 layer of fert on it, and it's not fully grown anyway. It drastically alters the traction, I guess the coefficient of friction of various tires. And I believe it's a mass... it alters the mass as well. So it reduces the grip of tires on various field surfaces. And it also alters the mass of the tractors and trailers and implements themselves. We're getting, I don't know if you're seeing this, but we're getting kind of a weird stutter right through here. Our frame rate is really good, but we're getting like a little bit of a hop almost. And I don't know what's causing that. I have to say, I don't like it though. Don't like it. Is that any better? Yeah, we're smoother when we're in cab. So let's see how we do when we look back here. Oi! The immersion, the realism. All right, we'll just keep looking forward. Let me see. There's 4 tire types that it gives you. It gives you field tires for tractor, street tires for tractor, which I guess would be Nokian. It gives you row crop tires, and then it gives you street tires for cars and trucks. So that would be the Mustang and the pickup. And then it also gives you, it alters the grip of the tire based on the tire itself and also based on the field. So there is a plowed field, cultivated field, a planted field, a harvested field, a growing field, and they all have different, for lack of a better word, different coefficients of friction. But it also, I found this out, I was working fields and it started raining. And it was field work. We were subsoiling and it started raining. And the grip factor on all my tires went to 0. There was absolutely no way to move in the fields whatsoever as long as it was raining. Which is a little bit heavy-handed, but I said that to start the video. I get that in real life most farmers do not work in a field while it's raining. You can do a lot of damage very quickly. So I get that. But I don't know. I felt like it could have given us like 5%. It could have at least given us the opportunity to get off the field. Like maybe we wouldn't have enough grip to move the implement, but we would have enough grip to leave the field. And this was, we were just absolutely stuck in place. So, but not a big deal. Not a big deal. We got out of it. Once the rain stopped, got everything going again. And I'm going to go third person because the only way to line this up, like if we go first person, I'm going to look out here. But when I look out there, then I can see the implement bouncing around, and it's really immersion breaking. All right, so we'll do one more headland. We'll do some lengths, and then we will run down and get... Oh, interesting. Is that weeds in a grass field? That's new, is it not? When seasons first dropped for 19, were there weeds in grass? I feel like that was something that was not present, and people were asking for it, because you do get weeds in grass. Is that right? Am I remembering that right? Well, we've got weeds in grass now. Oh, they're shaking. Why is that happening? Whoa. Easy, player. All right. I know, who was it? It wasn't Mowgli. Who created the more realistic mod for FS17? I know they went through and manually configured all base game vehicles for more realistic. So if you're running more realistic in 17, all base game vehicles automatically configured. And I don't know if the physics mod that we're running right now includes this Alpine pack, this Alpine DLC, because it is fairly recent. I don't know if it's been added. So it could be that the reason the physics are tripping out specifically on these implements is because they're not converted over yet. They're not included. Yeah, and that's, you know, we can sort of cheat a little bit in Sim, and we can do things in Sim that you can't do in real life. So I get it, you know, if the mod maker has set it up so that you can't do that, you can't do it in real life. I mean, you can, but you'll damage your fields. If you can't do it in real life, then you can't do it in Sim. And I totally get that, and I sort of respect that, because I do like realistic play, but I don't know. I feel sort of frustrated when modders do things, I wouldn't say without my permission, but you know what I mean? When mods seem a little heavy-handed, is that a good way to say it? You know? A little over the top. I would say something like that, it would be fair and appropriate if that was something you could turn on and off, right? If you want that very realistic, what are we doing here? Do we need one more? I think we need one more headland. All right. If you want that very realistic inability to work when it's raining, that's something you could turn on. Or you can set it to like rescue mode. That does give you just a little bit of grip. Certainly not enough to pull a trailer or an implement, but at least enough to get the tractor off of the field, right? Or you can turn it off completely and do whatever you want. But I like to have the option. I think we're pretty spoiled as gamers in this era that it's so easy to configure games exactly the way we want. Yeah, that was, well, I noticed that when it was raining, I sank in the field on both field tires and row crop tires. Row crop tires I would totally understand because the PSI is so high, but I would think that field tires might be able to keep a tractor up on the surface. Maybe, but every vehicle that I had that was in the fields when it started raining, they all immediately sank, not quite up to the axles, but I would say well past the tread. Yeah, no doubt. Now, I've seen, particularly on big farms in the Midwest, in the U.S., over the past few years, a lot of farmers have started migrating to everything is tracked. Tractors are on tracks. Trailers are on tracks. Carts, everything is on tracks. Combine harvesters are still on wheels, but almost everything else is on tracks. And apparently it's for compaction, because when you run tracks, you can take the PSI down so low, right? You've got all that surface area, and it absolutely minimizes the pressure. So I'm told that's the reason for it, and that's the direction that a lot of farmers are heading in. And there's conversion kits you can get to make wheeled vehicles, wheeled trailers into track trailers. All right, so I'm going to lift this up here. Oh, the shaking. Yeah, if I had to guess, whoa, jackknife. If I had to guess, I would say that is the reason for this, that this mod has not been updated since the Alpine pack dropped. I'll take a look. I'll take a look on the mod hub and see if there's a note indicating that there is. Yeah, this is bad. We were doing so good. We were doing so good until we waited for the grass to dry, and I feel like that's when everything went tits up on us, and it's just been a disaster since then. But you know what? I'm stubborn. I'm gonna make at least one bale, because I need to see if what is in this field is dry grass or hay. My money is on dry grass. I think it needs to sit a little while longer before it becomes hay. But we spent enough time staring at a field. We had to do something. We had to make a play. That's how it goes sometimes. Yeah, no doubt. Low PSI. And you know what? Anything you can do to save a step. That is what I'm learning about farming in real life and in farm sim. Anything you can do to save a step, within reason. If you save hours, right? You save payroll and you save wear and tear on the equipment. So anything you can do to save a step is going to be better for you in the long run in terms of making money and being profitable. So you want to be absolutely as efficient as possible and never waste any time and never waste any passes on a field. If you can accomplish two things with a pass rather than one, you definitely want to do that. All right, and I think, you know what we could do? Where are we at? Wow, 3 hours and 40 minutes. Okay, this could be the longest stream I've ever done. Yeah, I think I went 4 hours one time. Maybe we'll try to cap it at 4 today. Yeah, exactly. I think that's why streamers don't use it. And it's, I don't know, man. It's the only way that I can play, but I totally get it. When people are like, get on with it, man. Do something. I totally get that. So we can make a big swing here. I feel like this thing is, the turning circle on this thing is, it's really, oi. It's like it doesn't want to let us turn. I don't know if an implement can restrict your turning radius, but I feel like this is. And I feel like our rows are kind of going off the rails over here as well. Everything's coming apart. All right. Let's do this. Let's do this before it gets any worse. Let's do this, because if this is still grass, if this is not hay yet, we're going to need to ted it all back out anyway. So before we row it all up, let's park this thing Let's get a baler up here and see just what the hell is going on, right? Let's see what's what. Because if this is still dry grass, that's the end of the episode. That's not a rage quit or anything, but I'll need to TED this all off camera. And what I'll do is I'll mow the other fields as well. And then we'll TED all of them. I'll TED all of them off camera. And then we'll down, up. And then we'll, I don't know, next episode we'll bail maybe. I don't know, something. Yeah. I don't know, man. The tip that I got about that realism mod, they said no errors, no conflicts. I mean, technically it is working. There's no conflict, right? It's not, we're not getting crashes or anything. But I just feel like, if I had to guess, I would say that that realism mod has not been updated to include this new content. If I had to guess. All right, so we'll back this in here. And one more trip down to the store. And let's see what we've got in that field. Place your bets. I say it is dry grass. Because I really do think hay is a much lighter kind of green gold color. And then this is... Do we have a Cavernaland? We do. But you know what? That's just the New Holland. You're not fooling me. It's exactly the same, is it not? Take a look. No, it's different. It is a different shape. All right. We just use Pottinger. Let's mix it up a little bit, and let's go Claas. Now we'll go with this one because that's a round bale with wrapper. We don't want that. Or do we? I will do this one. I've never used this before. Okay. Then we got, oh, look at this. We got tires. Big Michelin fan. One of those random things. $5,000. Jeez. God. Oh, God. There goes the rest of our money. Oh. We have no money now. Oh. We've got 12,000 of wool that we can sell. And we're going to have to because we are absolutely broke now. We've got $2,000. We've got $2,000. I did tether it, and then we let it dry for a day and a half, but it never changed color a second time. So it changed color from dry grass. No, reverse that. It changed color from wet grass to dry grass, but it didn't change color a second time. And I swear, man, from, was it Greenwich Valley? I made a ton of grass there, and I swear I remember it changing color a second time and going to like this light green gold. It almost looks like straw. So we'll, carefully make the turn. So, whoa, hang on. Let me reset the track IR. There we go. So we'll see. Oh, I couldn't. The episode was dying. People were just... We're fading away. I was watching my viewer count drop. We were just staring at a field. It was the worst stream ever. It was like some kind of ASMR madness. Tune into my stream where we just stare at a field. I had to make a move, man. I know. Let me pick up this baler and let me see what we got. But I'm just about positive that is dry grass and it's not hay yet. Oh, not how I wanted to end things. Not how I wanted to end my week. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's just pixels. I'm fortunate to be a very healthy person. Things are going really well in my world. The people that I'm close to are healthy. I have nothing to be upset about. And if the worst thing that happens to me today is something in a video game, I would consider myself lucky. It's just pixels, man. I have to remind myself of that. I do get too involved with games every now and then. I get a little bit upset. I have to remind myself. Hang on. Somebody said something. Yeah, exactly. You know, I've been playing that Hunter Call of the Wild game, and that is definitely a learn by your mistakes kind of game. It is a trial and error game. And I'm okay with that. You know, on the one hand, it kind of sucks because you make a mistake and it's like, oh, you do it that way. So you've learned, but you learned by making that mistake, and you lost some time, or you lost some money or whatever. But yeah, a lot of this stuff, that's exactly what we do. We just figure things out. And I think that's part of the appeal of Farm Sim, is you're learning things, you're figuring things out. And as many hours as I've put into this game in 15 and 17 and 19, I think it's fair at a certain point to be like, well, how much more is there to learn? There's always something to learn. Always. I love it. Not just in gaming, but in life as well. All right, let's get hooked up. Beautiful. That's my favorite way to hook up, where whatever you're hooking up to doesn't like jump around all radically, because once you get in the trigger, you just need to be close enough, right? And the triggers are pretty generous, so once you're in the trigger, everything's fine. But if you're like right on the edge of it, your trailer or your baler or whatever will kind of jump and align itself to the tractor. But if you're lined up properly, it doesn't move at all, it just hooks up. I love it. All right, here we go. Now, I do think this game looks a little bit better in the evenings than it does at noon. I think the lighting at noon does look really, really plastic. But I think the lighting in the evening has, I don't know, it's got a certain appeal to it. Doesn't look terrible. All right. Oh my goodness, I'm so nervous right now because I know what it's gonna say. I already know what it's gonna say. I don't know how much longer we can let those fields sit, and I'm also curious because we are getting that wet field warning every morning, and I would say that's from dew. Pretty obviously, that's meant to represent like dew on the crops in the morning. Fair enough. But if we're trying to make hay, does that reset our hay every morning? Right? Does that take our hay back to wet grass, or, well, dry grass? Does it reset the progress of making hay every morning? And so essentially we're never going to be able to dry our grass into hay. I don't know if it does or not. And I don't remember that morning dew thing being in seasons when it first released for 19. I think that's new. Like the weeds and grass fields. I think that's been added since then. So, I don't know. I mean, do we have to wait till summer to make hay? Can you make hay in the spring? Unknown. Unknown. And I also this, we're running a vehicle control add-on, and I feel like from time to time it doesn't want to downshift. Come on now. There we go. There we go. We were trapped at like 11 miles per hour. All right. Well, let's see how this goes. Yeah, I think because what was the color that we were getting after the tedder was the same color as we were getting after we mowed the dry grass. And that would tell me that the tedder only makes dry grass, but it's the sun that makes hay. That sounds like a haiku right there, man. That's some, you know what I'm saying? That's some wisdom. I'm dropping knowledge. But I'm pretty sure we got a whole field full of dry grass right now and no hay yet, unless in the time that it took us to drive down to the store. Oh, sweet baby. In the time that it took us to drive down to this store, is it possible that this field dried into hay? Oh, wouldn't that be perfect? Wouldn't that be so perfect? Didn't happen. But what if it did? All right, here we go. Yeah, I think so too. I think so. But you know what? That's live and learn. I just don't know with the crops getting wet every morning. I mean, obviously it's just a little wet. It's not rain, it's just dew. But with them getting wet every morning, does that reset the progress of the dry grass drying into hay. Unknown. All right. All right. Pull out here. Yeah, we'll start on this one right here. And I do want to pull down a little bit till we're like well over our row. And the reason is the first thing you pick up, you think it's hay? All right, let's find out. The first thing you pick up is what determines what that bale will be. And I know up by the drive there is some... Oh, interesting. Does this have a built-in wrapper? What? I love it. All right. So we're going to turn on. Turn off automatic drop. That is here. Turn on automatic drop. I want that. It is on. We're going to lower the pickup. All right. Fingers crossed. Cover your ears, darling. Yep, it's grass. Damn it, man. All right. I'm going to call it right there. I'm going to call it. Let's fold this thing up. Yep, I will, I don't know what I'll do. I don't know what I'll do. I will probably mow the rest of those fields off camera and then hit everything with the tedder and then let it dry. I mean, is it going to be dry before day 7? Because day 7 is when the next cycle starts. And that's when it's going to start growing. That's when we've got to get the fertilizer on it. Technically, we need to get the fertilizer on it while it's purple, while it's harvested. So, all right. Thanks, everybody. You're awesome. I had so much fun in this stream today. I really did. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you. We'll do most likely American Truck Sim tomorrow. Possibly X-Plane, but probably ATS. And then we will do Precision Farming DLC on Tuesday as soon as it drops. Let me back away from the tractor a little bit. There we go. Less engine, more beats. And we'll do, we'll do Farm Sim 19 on Tuesday. And then Wednesday is TBD. What Seasons mod am I using? Do you mean what Geo mod? I mean, Seasons is just Seasons. It's the only one that I know of, but I don't have a Geo mod running. I'm just using whatever the map maker included for Purbeck Valley. All right, I gotta call it. My voice is going. I gotta call it. Thanks, everybody. Zarian mod. All right, Swiss, I will find you and we will sort it out. Thanks, everybody. You're awesome. I appreciate you. See you next time. Take care.